and do in the postseason.
And Yamamoto was nasty pretty much the entire night.
And yet, you hit 2 home runs, and you get another run across on a double play ball, and you win 3-2 with your pitcher. Not great, but was up to the task of keeping you in the game. A little bit fortunate a couple times along the way when he got into trouble. That was a playoff caliber win. So all this, is it sustainable? Who are they doing it against? They're doing it with Siegler and these guys. That was a playoff win last night.
No, the answer is it is sustainable because you are...
Because they've sustained it.
Yeah, that's true for the entire month of July. And when I say sustainable, you're not going to go 21-4 over the course of August. You can't realistically keep winning games the way they've won games consistently throughout this stretch. But it's sustainable in the fact that the American League is not good. This team has something. They have an intangible factor. Last night, they became the first Red Sox team since 2013 to win 8 consecutive series.
Yep.
So there is a little bit of, they just have the juice. However you want to define it, whatever word you want to use, they have it. And now it is on the front office and on ownership and on the organization to support a team that obviously has whatever word you want to describe it. But they have it. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how you can't look at the way they've played and say that there isn't a lot in this team that is believable. They still don't have the talent they need in the lineup, but everything else about them is believable. Their pitching is really good. Outside of Monasterio, who is just red hot at the plate right now, they can really field. I don't feel great about him at shortstop, but that's why you need to find a shortstop between now and tomorrow. You want to move Monasterio to second base while he's red hot? Do it. That's fine. But the pressure is now squarely on Craig Breslow and squarely on this ownership group and this front office to get it done over the course of the next 30 hours because there are deals to be made. Tarek Skubal went for kind of nothing last night. Nothing. And if I'm Mike Felger and I'm the Milwaukee Brewers, I am apoplectic today, losing my mind. Because, let me tell you, there's a team that's just more interested in winning than you, the Dodgers. We'll get to the Skubal trade and what it means for baseball a little bit later on, but don't tell me there aren't deals to be made. Whether it's for a rental, whether it's for a player with term, whatever it is, there are deals to be made, and it's time to get it done. I don't want to hear tomorrow at 7 o'clock, well, we really didn't want to give up that for a rental. This team is worthy of a rental edition, which is crazy to me, Andy. It's crazy, because a month ago, I was saying sell. We all were saying sell.
Right.
Whether you're adding somebody under a long-term contract, whether you're adding somebody like George Springer who could come in, play a little left field for you, be your DH if Roman Anthony comes back, give you some right-handed pop, give you some juice in October when he's great. That's fine. That's a rental. You can do that. There are opportunities to improve this team, and I don't want to hear, well, we couldn't come to alignment. I don't want to hear that tomorrow. The pressure is squarely on Craig Breslow to get it done.
You like names like Ellie De La Cruz? You want a shortstop?
Yeah. De La Cruz isn't my number one target, and it's not going to happen because, well, as we found out last night, the Red Sox did try, but they, again, couldn't come to alignment with the Reds on De La Cruz.
So that's my concern is whether teams don't value. Remember last year, Breslow basically admitted no one wanted their prospects.
Yep.
That, we put everybody on the table and teams need to want our players. Whether it's because other teams don't want their players, prioritize the Red Sox prospects the way they do, we do, Baseball America and all these rankings do, or they start to hold back a little bit. They're not all in on whoever you want to target. You don't have, it doesn't, De La Cruz, I would be excited to watch.
Oh, no, I would be too.
You go from shortstop being a black hole to shortstop being like, oh, yeah, I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm watching.
He's not, there are some flaws to his game, but beggars can't be choosers here.
Right.
If you give me Ellie De La Cruz, I'm more than on board with that. If it's keep Franklin Arias or get Ellie De La Cruz, I'm saying get Ellie De La Cruz.
Give me the big leaguer.
Yeah, I know kind of what De La Cruz is, and he's not 100% the player everybody said he was going to be. He's also still young, so he might become that. And the Red Sox did the right thing. They kicked the tires, and the Reds said no. This according to the reporting that we got last night. Let's see. Sean McAdam, I'll just read this here. Tyler Milliken's tweet about this, because if you want to follow the Red Sox and every report that's ever happened with them, Milliken's your guy. The Red Sox had discussions with the Reds about Ellie De La Cruz, but couldn't match up, per Sean McAdam. Red Sox offered a package mostly made up of prospects, but it wasn't enough to tempt the Reds, who were more interested in young major league players. And I get that. If you're the Reds, you say, De La Cruz is an established big leaguer. Give us Peyton Tolley for him in return. The Red Sox turn around and say, we need Peyton Tolley this year.
Because we traded Connolly early.
Yes, exactly. So I guess it comes back to the discussion we had a week ago, Andy. I did not, and this was before Australian Moonlight Graham Curtis Mead got hurt in Game 1.
Did you notice we talked about Curtis Mead more than Curtis Mead has played for the Boston Red Sox?
That's right.
Probably will play for the Boston Red Sox this year.
That's correct. So the argument that I was making to you about Mead last week, Andy, is I don't want to use early for a projection. I want to use early in a deal for an established major leaguer. Right. Now, that means you're going to have to give up 2 or 3 or 4 pieces, whatever that may be. But early is so much more valuable to you in that trade than he is in a 1-for-1 swap for a guy who you're making a projection on. Here's a perfect example of a week later, maybe Ellie De La Cruz is available. You call them and they say, no, we want big leaguers. Now, they might not want Connolly early in return, but what if the Reds say, all right, we want Franklin Arias, which would feel like an automatic if they're trading De La Cruz, and we want one of your young lefties. And Early's probably not on that list because he's the third of the young lefties, but what if they say, all right, it's Jake Bennett, it's Franklin Arias, and another piece or 2. You're now more willing to make that trade to pull off of your big league roster because you kept Connolly early, and now you're getting the big fish in De La Cruz. But rightfully so, Breslow hangs up the phone when they ask for current big leaguers because he says, I can't take a piece off of this roster to add a piece to this roster. I had only one of those moves to make. I already made it. So they screwed that up. They completely screwed that up because
they overpaid. They misread the market.
You cannot trade right now Peyton Tolley or Jake Bennett. You can't do it. To justify improving in 2026, that's going to be a wash because you're going to take away a good young starting pitcher who's going to help you win games the way Tolley did last night off of your roster, and you're not going to replace him elsewhere. You cannot trade Tolley or Bennett right now. You just can't do it.
And unfortunately for Breslow, bad luck. Guy gets hit by a fastball in his first game, second at bat. You can't prove whether it was a worthy trade, right? If the 17 home run guy comes in and hits another dozen home runs in his first month and a half at Fenway Park, then it's a good trade. We're probably not talking about you did it too early, you overpaid, but now you have another deal. I'm sorry. I'm not a, what do you call him, prospect humper and all that whole thing.
That's true, yeah.
I'm not that. But when I read about what the Dodgers gave up to get Tarek Skubal, it's like, Connolly Early's better than the 0-10 pitcher that's a 27-year-old prospect who already has a bad arm, right? Yeah. Doesn't it feel like you actually used a better young pitching chip than the Dodgers did to get the best starter in baseball?
Yep.
So as the market starts to declare itself over the next 30 hours, we're going to look at that trade. Because there was an aspect of you got ahead of it. You didn't know what the price was going to be for an infielder with a little pop. You got ahead of it. Oh, you have 3, so you kind of gave yourself some depth, young pitchers at the major league level. I don't know. I think you might be looking at that differently as this evolves. And then De La Cruz. You may not love him.
Yeah.
There was a point in time he was the most exciting prospect in baseball.
Number 1 prospect in the game.
About everything.
Yeah.
Power, arm, speed, just everything. Okay, the bloom's off it a little bit, but there's also the potential he gets back to something like that, right? He's still young. We're seeing it with Rafaela.
He's got an 857 OPS this year.
I'll take
it too. No, he's got 18 homers.
I'd watch. You put him in a Red Sox uniform, you're giving me more reason to watch.
You and me both. He's not a perfect player, but you and me both. And he'd instantly be the best player in this lineup. No doubt about it. Him and Wilson Contreras.
And allows everybody to... By the way, you got the win last night without Contreras. And you talk about this team having it and sustainable. Yeah. So their best hitter, who's in a little dugout feud with your crazy left fielder, also in concussion protocol, doesn't play, and you're still winning. Like, you're finding ways to win instead of taking excuses to lose.
Against the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium on Yamamoto night.
With ugly uniforms for the Dodgers.
Holy crap, are they bad.
I looked at it and I'm like, wait, why are their names blended into the numbers below them.
Doesn't it make you appreciate how well the Red Sox have done with their alternate,
Yes.
money grab uniforms?
Yes.
The greens are amazing. They are sharp as hell. Yeah, even the yellow. You're wearing the yellow right now. Look, you can see that on YouTube.
Damn right.
Pretty sharp
Nailed
uniform. Nailed it.
And they have reasons.
Absolutely. Yes, no doubt.
Right? The Marathon, Fenway Green, the Monster. Like, there's tie-ins that are obvious.
Even the Reds are good.
Right.
Even the Reds are sharp.
Absolutely.
And the Dodgers have one of the great classic uniforms in all of baseball.
Not last night.
Dodger blue. No, not last night at all.
Those were hideous.
I tuned in and I was like, what the hell is this?
You know what they reminded me of? So I did like a decade of youth lacrosse, and you got to do jerseys every year.
Yeah.
And to be because it's a cool thing in that world.
Yeah.
It's like new jerseys. What are they going to look like? And to get creative, sometimes you get too creative. And
Yeah, it
you're
was
like,
Oregon Ducky.
yeah, we missed.
Yeah.
We missed on this one. Same thing with high schools. Sometimes they want to have cool football uniforms or something, and then you realize, wait, I can't read those numbers from anywhere in this stadium. And it feels like the Dodgers. That's a swing. Put those away. Burn those. What was the old owner of the White Sox that would burn the discs, burn the uniforms on the field?
Just send Chris Sale out there with the
cut the
scissors.
sleeves off and the names off the back and the whole damn thing.
617-779-0985. Your thoughts on the Red Sox last night, what this means for the trading deadline moving forward. We'll get into the latest reporting on the Red Sox. More reporting on Jarren Duran this morning and the Red Sox interest in trading him. We'll get to all of that, plus the deal that went down last night, Tarek Skubal going to the Dodgers for kind of a bag of nothing. And we'll get into all of that. Andy Hart's here. It's Matt McCarthy hanging out on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
The 99 restaurant is once again supporting Dana-Farber Cancer Institute.
You did. And, they had traffic all night, and you really didn't because you couldn't touch Yamamoto, yet 2 home runs, double play ball. The bunting Red Sox do it again. I like big bunts, and I cannot lie, Andy Hart. And, they just keep finding ways to win games. It's remarkable. And now the pressure is on Craig Breslow to get it done. Let's just do a quick kind of roundup of all the reporting in the last 24 hours around the trading deadline.
Get me excited.
You mentioned Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah.
Again, Sean McAdams saying they could not match up with the Reds. Red Sox wanting to offer prospects. Reds wanted more established young major leaguers. That's not going to happen.
Okay, I'm with Breslow on that one.
Okay,
I'm with him.
I understand.
I don't want to make this team worse. I'm getting excited about this team. Add to this team. Don't take away.
Okay, so Ken Rosenthal and Jen McCaffrey reporting yesterday that one rival executive who spoke on the condition of anonymity to be candid says he believes the Red Sox might only trade Franklin Arias for C.J. Abrams. Red Sox are not necessarily as high on other shortstops who've been linked to the team, such as Zach Neto or the Marlins' Otto Lopez. Okay, I understand that. However, there's been reporting from earlier on in this week that C.J. Abrams is not going to get traded.
Right.
So, you're only going to trade Arias for Abrams. Fine. Doesn't feel like there's a trade that's going to happen there. It's not going to be Otto Lopez, according to Sean McAdam, who says that the odds of that deal are pretty much dead because the Red Sox and the Marlins have had very little contact in the last week about Lopez, so that's probably not going to happen. Rosenthal also saying that Arias is a popular trade target, but the Red Sox have not yet found a deal worth discussing. And the last report is that Luis Arraez is generating interest from the Rays, Yankees, and Red Sox.
Okay.
That from Francis Romero. However, Ken Rosenthal reporting that the Red Sox prefer to add a shortstop rather than a second baseman. Arraez is not a shortstop. So you know what that's all suggesting to me? Once I hear about, again, 32 hours before the trading deadline, once I hear this trade didn't work out, that trade didn't work out, Red Sox aren't in on this guy, I'm worried nothing's going to happen here. Because I'm hearing a lot of, they're not in on this guy, they tried on this guy, they don't like this guy. There's very little, they're in the market for him, they're in the market for that. I do not feel good about the way this thing is trending right now.
I kind of agree with you, but I'm a little gullible, Andy. That's what they like to call me, especially with the Red Sox. I like to get caught up in the idea, whether it's trade deadline or hot stove, they are interested, they are pursuing, they are in the mix. And then the other thing is, I was reading about Skubal stuff like feels like 24 hours ago, basically. And, they haven't really had any serious talks with anyone. They're expecting Sunday they'll heat up.
Yep.
Well, he didn't make it till Sunday. As of Saturday night, he was, you know what I mean? So this idea that they haven't had substantive talks about X player, you can add Adley Rushman in there. Did you see those little reports too?
Can you refresh my mind on those?
That the Orioles are interested in shopping him. Now, the way it was reported, and I'm sorry I forget the source, I didn't love, but it was Orioles are potentially shopping him, source willing to listen.
Yep.
And the Red Sox and 2 other teams were listed as could be an interest of catching.
The Red Sox have been tied to the catching market. There are 6 teams interested in catchers. So, yeah, it's like it's kind of there. It's kind of not.
2 truths, but they're not actually tied together kind of thing.
I would say this, though. Typically when the Red Sox are tied to things, there's a reason why we call them the interest kings.
Yes.
It's a fine line between you want to be tied to it, but you kind of don't want to be tied to it.
Right.
And what I'm hearing right now is, the Red Sox have been tied to Zach Neto loosely, but you're getting some reporting that they're not as interested in him. I'd be happy about that. Now, that could be a smokescreen. You're getting definitive reporting on Otto Lopez from Sean McAdam that they're out. That's not going to happen. Take Otto Lopez off the board. When McAdam says that's true.
Okay.
I believe that. So I do agree, Andy, that there is an element of you want them to be in, but we don't want those direct reports because every time there's a direct report on the Red Sox, they never actually land the player. But when I keep hearing specifically, this deal's dead, Ellie De La Cruz, Otto Lopez, I know those aren't happening, especially because it's coming from McAdam. So it does feel to me like we're trending in a direction. Like if we're talking about shortstop, just in particular, they're pretty much out of guys at this point. Like you want to find a shortstop, that's great. Well, you're not trading for Abrams probably because Abrams isn't going to get traded. And maybe that reporting is coming out. The Red Sox are trying to force Washington's hand on it by saying we'd give up Arias, but you're not trading for Abrams. You're not trading for Neto. You're not trading for Lopez. Who is left at the shortstop market? So I don't know. It feels like they're being shut out there, and I do believe that reporting.
And there was a short period of time people were trying to throw Bobby Witt Jr. out there as a name.
That's not going to happen.
And I didn't know necessarily, because I'm with you. Sometimes when you see reports, you wonder, where's it coming from and why is it coming, right? Like, what's the reason this information, who benefits from this information? So there's definitely some of that. The one thing I will say is you lose faith in Craig Breslow and the Boston Red Sox. They don't have the excuse that the market never developed or that players weren't traded. You hear that sometimes.
Yep.
Well, who got traded? I don't know. Tarek Skubal just got traded.
For a bag of balls.
Yeah. So don't tell me there was no market that developed or the price was too high on all these things. No. The best pitcher in baseball was just traded for a guy that's 0-10.
Yeah.
0-10, 27 and injured. Like, I couldn't believe when I read that. Like, that's not even a prospect in my mind anymore. I don't care how you feel about him. In this world where we're getting excited about 21-year-old pitchers, 21-year-old Roman Anthony, things like that, dude's 27. He should be eligible for free agency in a year, never mind still a prospect. But there's a market out there that's developing, and there's a market that is affected, I'm guessing, by the CBA stuff that's on the horizon, right? Yep. And people can say the Dodgers are like exempt from the CBA or whatever. They're playing in their own world. But you're the Boston Red Sox. I said this, I think, to you a couple weeks ago. If team like the Padres is looking to unload some salary, take on salary. Take on a contract that you may not love next year when there's no baseball, or a year after when there's a salary cap, but you're the Boston effing Red Sox. You are now 2.5 games out of the top wild card. You're knocking on the door of the New York Yankees, getting into second place. This is your opportunity to go. You didn't see this opportunity a month ago. Take the opportunity.
And mentioned too, like in regards to the rental market, and I do think if we're looking at all of this, there's been so much discussion about the Red Sox adding a player with term. And one of the reasons I think they're interested in doing that is, well, it's not a great free agent market this year for hitters. And it's like, they have a lot of young players, not only on the major league roster, but they have a good minor league system. It's a top 10 system. There are pieces they can move to get a guy who's going to be here for the next 2 or 3 or 4 years. That costs a lot at the deadline. And there's a reason why oftentimes very few of those guys move at the deadline. There's a reason why Joe Ryan didn't move last year. He's still under team control. If you're still under team control, it makes more sense for teams to trade that player in the offseason compared to at the trading deadline, because simply put, there are more suitors. So the price is always going to be astronomical for a player, who has term. And I hear this from fans all the time. It's like, we'll get a player not just for this year, but for next year. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Right.
But how are you going to, it's like, yeah, go out and get Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt is basically under contract for the next forever with the Royals.
Right.
I think there's an opt-out after 2030, but 2030, for the love of God, we'll all be dead by 2030. Like, why would the Royals move Bobby Witt now compared to a few years from now, or at least the offseason, when there are more suitors? How many teams are actually truly interested in buying? It's the same thing. How many teams are actually truly interested in selling? So prices generally do go sky high on players who have contract remaining. The Red Sox have to be open-minded about getting a rental at this point. That's what I think this run has proven, Andy, is this team is worthy of a rental addition. They are firmly in the playoff picture. They're 2.5 games back of the top wild card. They might hunt down the Rays, to be totally honest. They could win the division. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that we have to go get a guy with term? They have to be open-minded to it. They should be open to the rental market too, especially given the rental market right now. Just the biggest rental piece in Tarek Skubal moved, and did not move for, frankly, all that much. The rental market is soft. Jump on it right now.
And have we decided shortstop is the biggest need / most obvious area to target?
I think so, because if you're counting on a catcher to fix your lineup, you're in trouble.
Right.
And catcher's a need. Don't get me wrong. It's a short-term need and it's a long-term need, but shortstop is an even bigger short-term need and potentially long-term need if you end up moving Arias.
The other thing, your little timeline of reports and everything, the latest one, too, from Bob Nightingale, take it for what you will. Mm-hmm. The Red Sox are now expected to trade Jarren Duran in the winter.
Yeah.
In the winter that may not even happen because there could be a lockout. But I feel like we've been dealing with this Jarren Duran trade prospect for, a year now, basically. But he's a guy that you could include in a package, right? That's a major league sell. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's batting 199, so that face is appropriate.
It's all the way up to 199.
Yeah, I wanted to check.
He's been hot the last 2 nights.
I mean, cash in more ways than one, yelling at teammates and getting all pissy. But that's a major, I mean, he was an all-star MVP not that long ago. As you're filling out a trade package with a number of prospects, a pitcher, whatever it may be, maybe that. But I think you need a shortstop. Shortstop is the position. I mean, you're the Boston Red Sox and you don't have a shortstop.
They haven't had a shortstop since Xander Bogaerts.
He's available. Milliken didn't want him, but
he is available. He's not going to fix your problems.
The next 7 years.
Yeah, no, you can get him at the low price of $25 million a year. Good for Xander. God bless Xander. Nobody deserved that contract more than him. He's a great guy, a great human being. He's absolutely robbing the Padres right now.
Yep.
But good for him, man. Capitalism is a beautiful thing. What a wonderful world where Xander Bogaerts can make $25 million a year for the next forever. But no, you're right. Shortstop is their number one need. But I keep hearing I wouldn't count on it. Just based on this reporting here, I would not count on the Red Sox being able to pull the trigger on a deal for a shortstop.
Are you setting yourself up for nothing, or are you just setting yourself up for, they picked up a middle reliever that no one really knows, and we'll look him up and say, wow, you didn't really do much? Is Meade going to be the biggest trade that they make?
There's a chance.
I don't like that.
Oh, I hate that. There's a chance. I think George Springer. I think there's a good chance George Springer happens.
Okay.
Springer makes a ton of sense. He'd be willing. There's reporting from Julian McWilliams, who I really trust when it comes to this stuff. His coverage is just excellent, and he's got ties with the Red Sox and across baseball. He covers baseball for CBS Sports. He said that Springer would be willing to waive his no trade clause to come to Boston.
I take it.
Springer is not the player he once was. He's 36 years old, but couple of factors. He's still got some pop. He's got 12 homers this year, but that's going to be more at Fenway Park. His swing is built for Fenway.
His pull side air percentage, do I need to look that up for him?
You don't need to look that up. Let me give you more basic statistics. You ready for this?
Yes.
George Springer career at Fenway Park. 323 average, 400 on base, 940 OPS.
I like it. Built for Fenway Park.
Built for Fenway Park, built for the postseason. No, George Springer could be 45 years old. You put him at the plate in October, he's going to scare you. He should scare you. He's got injury concerns. He's not the player he once was. But to me, you put him in left field at Fenway Park for a few weeks. If Roman Anthony comes back, Anthony's your left fielder, Springer's your DH, you are now a way better team, a more balanced team. Springer feels like the most realistic target. And that's the one I'll really crush them on if they don't get it done over the next 30 plus hours. Like, I think Toronto's going to move him. He's a rental, so it makes sense for Toronto to move him at this point. The question is, are we going to hear, well, that was too much to give up for a rental? The answer is no. I mean, you're not trading Arias for him. You're not trading Ianson for him. The answer is no, especially based on what Skubal just went for. The rental market is soft. I want George Springer on the Red Sox by the time this show is over.
I'll take that over my little middle reliever I've never heard of idea.
Yeah. My worry is that's what's going to happen. They're going to, panic at about 5:40 tomorrow, the way it happened last year. They're going to get Dustin May. They've got a million irons in the fire. Breslow can't get it done because his relationships with general managers just isn't where it needs to be.
That shouldn't be the issue, though. So
I think it's an issue.
You learned from a year ago, and you've had a year to build relationships and to improve your preparation for this moment. It should not be 5:59:59 where you're scrambling.
Who has Breslow since last year, since the Twins fiasco? And I'm convinced the Twins pulled the rug out from under Breslow to screw him for taking a not-so-veiled shot at their front office at about the All-Star break last year, because there were reports on Joe Ryan. I think the Red Sox thought they might have had a deal done with the Twins for Ryan around the trading deadline.
Yep.
The Twins said, we want to wait this out. Breslow basically came out, and I'm paraphrasing if I'm remembering. I'll pull the exact quote up later on. He basically said, well, we can't spend 2 or 3 or 4 days working on a deal with the team thinking we have a deal done and then they get cold feet, essentially. Mm-hmm. That was undeniably a shot at the Twins. So then a few days before the deadline, they re-engaged again. The Red Sox, as Alex Spear has now reported, offered Tolley and Franklin Arias for Joe Ryan, which was reported on these airwaves last year at the time by, I believe, not only Jared Carrabis, but Jimmy Stewart. And the Red Sox had offered both of those players. They thought that was going to get the deal done. They offered Tolley the final day, deadline day, and they're like, this is what's going to get the deal over the hump. And the Twins said, no, actually, we were never interested in dealing with you. Go pound sand kind of thing, which then leads to the comments, well, other teams need to like our players too. That was a shot at the Twins because it's like, oh, you didn't want Tolley and you didn't want Arias. You guys are dumb.
Right.
And the answer is the Twins were dumb for not taking Tolley and Arias for Joe Ryan at the time, but that was all a relationship. It was Breslow and the Twins just not being able to get a deal done, not being able to see eye to eye, and holding some personal animus against one another. And that's Breslow's biggest problem. He's only been able to get deals done over the last year since that Twins incident with Paul Taboni in Washington, who used to work for him, Chaim Bloom, who is him, and Ben Cherington, who's him. I mean, that is a very small circle of people that Breslow has been able to successfully deal with. And I think it repeatedly shows itself at these deadlines. So let's see if they make a trade. And I guarantee you, if they make a trade in the next 32 hours, there's a good chance it's going to be somebody from Washington, somebody from Pittsburgh, or somebody from St. Louis.
How about in the next 3.5 hours? Because I would love a trade today.
I would too. We could use it, man.
Yeah, you could use it. You're a little down.
I'm getting worried, man.
I know, but you watched that game last night. You shouldn't be down.
I'm getting worried. Based on
playoff baseball game. Your team won. Rafaela becoming a star before our eyes, glowing with his yellow arm sleeve.
See, both things can be true. I can love what I'm watching on the field and be worried about what they're going to do at the deadline.
Fair.
That didn't take away. It's not like I sat there when Connor Wong hit into the greatest double play I've ever seen in my life last night, and I was immediately thinking Breslow's going to screw it up. I was like, oh my God, that was beautiful. What a double play. What a game last night. It was awesome.
And this morning you've turned to, Breslow's going to screw this up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. 617-779-0985. How about Nick to lead us off? Hey, Nick.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
What's up?
So I have been just trying to figure out this Connolly early for Curtis Meade trade. And I was just hearing you guys talk about Ellie De La Cruz and how they wanted Connolly early. And I was thinking, do you think Craig Breslow went to the Nationals and was like, we'll offer you Connolly early, Arias, and a bunch of prospects for like Abrams and Meade? And they were like, no, we'll do the Meade trade now and then check back in on Abrams. And you think in some weird way, Craig Breslow's like getting goodwill by sending Connolly early to the Nationals, hoping that by the trade deadline, Abrams will be available, and then eventually, like, this will, I guess, screw it up. But I'll let you guys talk about it. Yeah.
A couple of things, Nick. We never said that the Reds wanted early.
Right. We said it could have made sense.
Yeah. No. What
It's a big league caliber player.
Right. The Reds wanted big league players in return for De La Cruz, and I said because you've now traded Connolly early, that takes that option away from you. My sense would be the Reds would want and would ask for in return for De La Cruz a package starting with Franklin Arias, upper minors, shortstop, replaces De La Cruz. That makes sense. They would definitely ask for one of the young lefties on the roster, probably Peyton Tolley. Could you maybe convince them on Jake Bennett? Chances are they're not taking Connolly early as one of the blue chip guys in that trade. However, you might be more willing to move, say, Jake Bennett in a trade for De La Cruz if you still have early on the roster, because you really can legitimately justify trading only one of those lefties this year because all of them are important to the 2026 Red Sox. You cannot take Peyton Tolley off of this roster. I mean, that's robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
So that's what we said on that.
And what it did is, if there were a couple positions you think the Red Sox deal from abundance, Major League, outfield, right?
Yep.
You have, so say a team fell in love with Abreu. He could be a part of a deal. Or your pitchers, your young pitchers. And you dealt one of those, removing a chip. Now, again, we will look back on this and decide, did they make the move too early? Could have gone the other way. As I said, like I don't totally dismiss the idea that if Meade stays healthy and Meade hits a dozen home runs, we're raving about they got ahead of the market.
Yep.
They got the bat that worked for them at a position of need for them. Unfortunately, he takes a pitch off the wrist and avoided a bullet for less than 24 hours and then has a broken wrist.
Yep. Didn't work out so hot.
Baseball, Ray. It's baseball.
Australian Moonlight Graham, Curtis Meade, 617-779-0985. We're talking about trades that could happen. Let's talk about the trade that did happen last night, which has generated plenty of reaction from baseball fans. People very upset that the Dodgers want to win more than you. We'll get to that next. Matt McCarthy and Andy Hart here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Aggressive, and they want to, go for it this year, for the lack of a better term. I do believe that. Does that mean they're actually going to get it done? Those are two different things. But no, I think ownership is involved. I think they are, emotionally invested in the team right now. They have been more than present at Fenway Park this year. The question is, do they get it done? And, you might say we want to be aggressive. Is this the right time to be aggressive?
So it actually just hit me listening to that clip. Maybe a reason for this. What is this ownership most known for over the last 8 or 10 years? I would say overreaction, right? They overreact to circumstances, often in a negative way, often with negative results.
By the way, that goes beyond 10 years. That's been mostly who they've been since they've been here.
So what has happened over the last year in terms of what McAdam was just talking about? All these young players that are going to make us a championship caliber team for the long term.
It hasn't worked.
None of them have panned out, right? And I say none, and people are like, well, Roman Anthony hasn't panned out. No. Roman Anthony was put on a pedestal as your middle of the lineup, although atop the lineup, superstar for this year, right? He was the guy. He was the poster child for the lineup for the Boston Red Sox. He's on a milk carton now. No one knows where he is, what he's doing, or what's wrong with his little finger. And the rest of it, the Bayos, the Campbells, they're minor league players. And I know Bayo pitched in the major league, so he's basically a minor league player. And Marcelo Meyer, people are ready to give up on, right?
Yep.
So if this ownership is paying attention to the plan that was put before them, we got a big three, we got this, we got that, they're like, that didn't work. And if they're prone to overreaction, now would be the time to overreact. A baseball team that's overachieving, winning more than anybody in baseball of late, go get me players. Go get me things that are actually contributing at a big league level. I'm sick of hearing about your prospects.
And as a result, the way to do that is trade your top prospect.
Yes.
Don't overrate Franklin Arias.
100%.
And, let's not make the same mistake we made with Meyer and maybe Anthony and Campbell. It's like, now's the time. Strike while the iron's hot. Overreact, you could argue, and trade your top prospect. We have, I don't want to call it breaking news, but it's a Tim McCone style breaking news, if we could, please.
This isn't really breaking news. Powered by Tim McCone.
Franklin Arias is out of the Woo Sox lineup today. He's played every game in Worcester since getting promoted from Portland. He's played at second base, I think, twice now. I think he played there again last night, too. Did play there a couple days ago as well, which you do wonder, is that showing another team that he has some positional versatility? You also want your shortstop to be able to play second, too, so and that's not, out of the ordinary. But Franklin Arias out of the lineup.
Little Reese's
30
Pieces?
plus hours before the trading deadline.
It's all coming together for me.
I'm sure it's connected.
It's all coming together.
Whether or not
Sean McAdam just said it. Ownership is pissed that they believed in your plan of bringing prospects up that were going to be the cornerstone of the franchise every year to compete. They all stink or aren't here or hurt or damaged goods. Sick of your prospects. Take your prospect and trade it for a known commodity. I'm buying in. I don't know why you're so negative. All the circumstantial evidence is coming together nicely for a big deal.
Yes, but is that big player out there? I think they want to make a trade. I do. I think, ownership would say, yep, go ahead. Trade Franklin Arias. He's a top 3 prospect in baseball. Use him as the chip you need to get that player. Is that player out there? I mean, if Washington's not willing to trade C.J. Abrams.
Or are they? We just had the caller before the break. It was basically one deal. There was a player to be named later, and his name is Abrams.
In the end, everybody's available at the right price.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you do wonder, though, is the right trade it? Because they are not trading Arias for Neto or Otto Lopez or anybody like that. They're not doing that. It has to be a relatively top-tier quality player under team control beyond this year. Find me that guy. Give me that name.
What about the Padres? Red Sox and Padres have been attached to each other for a significant period now. Now, a lot of it was about Jarren Duran, who is no longer really a sexy piece or a chip, but
no
whatever.
longer worth anything.
If they still want him, or they still, what about that team? That's a team that you and I have bandied about, the Mason Miller, Xander Bogaerts.
Yep.
Fernando Tatis was a name that was out there earlier in the year, right? That's a team that, financially speaking, is probably looking at everything being on the table heading into an off year, a CBA year, right?
Franklin Arias, Jarren Duran for Fernando Tatis.
Would you do it? You would. They would. You might regret it.
I would at this point.
Would you take Bogaerts as well?
I think you have to. No, I'm not taking Bogaerts in that deal. I need to get Mason Miller in return. Or put it this way, I'm taking Bogaerts in the deal if I'm not having to give up Arias. I'm using Bogaerts' money as a,
Right.
Yeah. But you're also taking on, here's the thing. There's no way the Red Sox are doing that deal because you're already taking on a bunch of money with Tatis. Bogaerts probably is not coming back in that deal.
Depends how overreactionary John Henry and ownership is to the prospects versus big money deal situation.
Tatis is 27. He's got a 753 OPS this year. Has not hit for a lot of power.
Right.
But again, you put him at Fenway Park.
He went forever before his first home run, I believe.
He did. He's got 8 of them now.
Yeah.
So he's hitting more.
See, he's hot.
Red hot. I mean, just buy high, sell low, right? I mean, that's the Craig Breslow approach. I mean, Curtis Meade, who was designated for assignment 3 months ago, we're like, no, we'll trade Connolly early for you. It's fine.
Do you think it's more likely that the Red Sox will use their prospects to get back players of value, or use their prospects like coupons, a la the Sonny Gray deal, and go, we'll throw in a prospect for you, but you have to eat half the salary?
Not at this point.
Right.
I think that's the type of
because
trade.
that was the Castillo deal. I think the Mariners are taking back a lot of the money that the White Sox would have to pay, but the White Sox have to throw in a couple of prospects
better
in order
prospects
for that to happen.
Yeah, you would want the Red Sox to take on money and give up less in return because that's using your financial resources. I mean, the Red Sox should be willing to take on a bad contract. And if we're going to go back, by the way, to the reporting that Buster Olney had earlier on this year, which I think is interesting as we approach the trading deadline, that the Red Sox are, we're having ownership level discussions about taking money on from other teams, taking on bad contracts, whatever that may be. Now, is that in reference to Mike Trout? I don't know.
The Mets have so many bad contracts in infield players of names that Red Sox fans would recognize. Like, that's where my mind goes. But that's why I was thinking, Francisco Lindor, Marcus Semien would be players that you could use, assuming that Curtis Mead isn't going to be back anytime soon, but their contracts suck, and the Red Sox historically the last couple of years have not been willing to take on that money.
Yeah, the Mets and the Padres are the two. If you're trying to take advantage of teams that are financially heading into the CBA looking to dump, those are the two. Francisco Lindor, there's your shortstop. He already won you a game this year, right? Right before the All-Star. He won you a baseball game for the Boston Red Sox.
Yes, he did. Lindor interests me.
I think he could benefit from a change of scenery.
I agree.
Badly.
I agree.
But are we...
Lindor is not that far removed from being one of the best players in baseball. And what did he do last year?
32, I think?
Lindor was 10th in MVP voting last year.
Right. I would take
2 years ago, he was second in MVP voting. Now he's 32. And how much longer does he have on the deal?
I think he has 2 more years on his contract.
Free agent 2032.
Okay, so more than 2.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of Semien's I was looking at a lot of Mets players last night going,
5.
all right, there is a path here.
Yeah.
But is this...
They just have to be willing to eat the money.
Are we having a realistic discussion right now? Or is this just we're playing radio on a Sunday morning?
No, I think we are having a realistic discussion because I do buy that ownership. When McAdam, there's too much smoke around it from people that I trust. When McAdam comes out and basically says... they want to be aggressive. They want to go all in this year. I mean, Sean McAdam doesn't come out and say stuff like that.
Right.
Unless there's an element of truth to it. There's Buster Olney hearing that the Red Sox were having, and this, again, goes back a couple months now, ownership level discussions about taking money on. You think that's just Buster Olney talking to John Henry and Henry saying, no, we want to take money on. No, Olney's running that up. He's running that up the totem pole. He's talking to other owners like, hey, did you talk with Henry at the owners' meetings? And they're like, yeah, they're interested in taking on some. They sound interested. So there's a level. There is smoke behind this. I just don't know. Again, if Craig Breslow is your general manager, if you're going to be able to come to alignment.
Well, and then there's the other factor that, speaking of McAdam, it wasn't that long ago that he was still of the belief that Breslow's job was still in jeopardy. That it was a two shoes drop kind of Cora than Breslow. Yeah. Now, a lot has changed, admittedly. Wins and losses and standings and playoff positioning, a lot has changed. But if you're Craig Breslow, does that come into play when you're doing these deals? And are you willing to make that final push in a deal?
Of course. He's probably, and he said this last week, essentially, he's willing to lose a deal. Well, you're willing to lose a deal if you're one of two things. You're on the verge of winning a World Series, which I don't think they are and they believe. But you never know.
Last night?
You never know in a weak American League. I still have my questions about this team ceiling, but hey, maybe I need to be more open-minded about it. But you're also willing to lose a deal if you're trying to save your job.
Right.
And Breslow now is empowered to go out and make a trade to improve this team, because if he did it a month ago, he'd be like, dude, we're not going to let you do this. We're 10 games under 500. No, that's not going to happen. But now he can legitimately justify it under the guise of, well, we need to add to this team. In the end, he needs this team to win. 617-779-0985. All right, I think important reporting there on Franklin Arias. He's not playing today, and everything going on with the Red Sox. And
This isn't really breaking news. Powered by Tim McCone.
Where does it rank on the actual breaking news scale? I mean, because it's definitely not breaking news, but I would characterize it as developing interesting news.
6.
Yeah.
1 to 10, it's a 6.
On the not breaking news scale.
On the...
or on the breaking news.
Yeah, more on the breaking news. I think it's interesting. It's the day before the trade deadline, and your top prospect for a team that is winning baseball games and ownership is maybe ready to go all in to try to win this year. Like, It's all circumstantial evidence, but there's a lot of circumstance.
Not to mention, too, they don't play on Mondays in the minor leagues anymore.
Right.
So it's the final day of the minor league season before the trading deadline. You sit him down today. Whether or not there's a deal imminent, it makes all the sense in the world in case something happens over.
So it's notable.
You don't want him getting Curtis Meaded out there.
Right.
Which is about
a perfect example. One pitch can change everything. Mm-hmm. One pitch. So, yes, it's notable.
Some bum in AAA throwing 89 is breaking his wrist. We'll continue. Matt McCarthy and Andy Hart.
Boston's home.
Resting their top prospect with the trade deadline barely 24 hours away. There's a lot to be had. They're coming off what some people are calling their best win of the season against the Dodgers.
That was awesome last night. Awesome.
That's baseball, baby.
It's baseball,
that's
Susan.
Fun baseball. And that's the example. You know how people get into the scoring debate? We talked about it with soccer. That's a low-scoring game. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think baseball is generally at its best when it's low-scoring.
You had 2 hits that really mattered, right? Cedar Rafaela puts 2 out of the ballpark for the 2 runs. You have a double play ball to get the other cross. Peyton Tolley scuffles around. But that's the other thing. Everybody loves Peyton Tolley, right? Even when he's not great, you enjoy watching it.
Well, his makeup is so good on the mound. He was not great last night, but he kept that Dodgers lineup to 2 runs.
Yeah, was it the home run he gave up early when he reacted the second that it struck the bat? He bent down through his hand. He was clear. His emotion, picture him versus Bayo. Bayo in the same situation, you're not enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
You're waiting for the bottom to fall out. You're like, here we go again kind of situation. But Peyton Tolley can scuffle around. You're still entertained. Rafaela hits a couple home runs. Boom, you win.
Tolley, his makeup is one of the reasons I believe in him immensely. And I would actually make the same argument for Jake Bennett. I love the makeup of those 2 young lefties. And if I were to psychoanalyze Peyton Tolley, he's... we know the story. He's had some personal tragedy. His mom, passed away a few years ago. I think the way he approaches the game with so much joy. He cares about it deeply, but I think in the end, he has the perspective that it is just a game and it only matters so much. Now, he's a competitor, so you put that together with this doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but I'm also a competitor, so it does matter to me. That's a hell of a weapon, man. It really is. And I think that's one of the reasons why his makeup is so good. And you just hear him off the field. He's the man. He's an awesome guy. He's, I think, easily one of the most likable athletes in Boston already at this
Absolutely.
point. He's awesome. So I'm glad he's not going anywhere.
Because he cares. Isn't that one of the age, when you feel like the athlete doesn't care as much as you do while watching the sporting event, you have a disconnect.
Yeah.
You have a problem. If they're treating it like a business and not sports and entertainment and competition, he does not. He treats it like every pitch. It's almost, he feels like a grunter. The kind of guy that would grunt every pitch. I'm giving you what I got.
Right.
It might be the last pitch I ever throw, but I'm going to go out with my head held high that I gave you what I had on my last pitch that I ever threw.
Right, because he has the perspective that in the end, all you can do is give it everything you have, and you can't control everything in life. So, I think it's a beautiful thing.
Also, I don't think he overthinks things.
No.
It doesn't seem like a guy that overanalyzes or regrets or just kind of yep, I did what I did. I'm going to do it again.
Well, I think, again, when you have the perspective that,
right,
that he has, that a lot of young, he's 23, 24 years old. He has an unfortunate perspective that I would never wish upon anybody, but he, because you just go back to the joy he had for his first start last year, and he does pitch with an element of joy to him, which is, it's great, but an element of competitiveness, an element of fire. It's a great thing to watch. I certainly don't want to trade him for just about anybody at this point. Unless Bobby Witt's available, but he's not. So Tolley's not going anywhere. Bennett's probably not going anywhere because they need him for this year. So that's where we are with the Red Sox. 617-779-0985. We've kind of beat around the Tarek Skubal-Busch a little bit. Let's dive deeper into this. What was your reaction when that went down last night?
So obviously you're not stunned because this is just kind of, whether it's a sarcastic remark or not, you're like, well, he'll probably go to the Dodgers kind of thing. When Tarek Skubal is on the trade market, and he was, and he's gone. Then I dig into the prospects, and it's like, What?
They didn't give up Emmett Sheehan, who starts tonight, by the way, for the Dodgers. I mean, the fact that they didn't give up Sheehan tells you everything you need to know.
Unbelievable. And I think this trade is a bigger deal. If I'm just stepping back, and we're going to get into the finances, and I know all of that, and business, I don't really care about that. The Dodgers are doing it the way every fan in the country wants their team to do it. The way the Mets, the way Steve Cohen does business as a fan owner for the Mets. It doesn't work. That's a different story. But this is the way we all want our teams to approach things. But to me, the biggest from the Dodgers value is not as much adding him to their roster as preventing him from being the guy who knocks them out of the postseason.
Right, going to Milwaukee,
wherever, and pitching twice in a series and going 2-0 and being the reason the Dodgers don't go to the World Series. So there's also that sub. I saw somebody tweet about this. Is this an Ohtani's not going to pitch anymore type move? Is Ohtani, because of whatever knee is bothering him but not preventing him from trying to tag up in the first inning on a fly ball to Wilyer Abreu in the right field? Yet one of the worst base running things I've ever
seen. By the way.
He stunned Wilyer Abreu. It's not like he grabbed the ball and threw to second. He grabbed it, looked, and like, are you really going? Okay, well, I'm going to throw you out then. But be that as it may, this is good. I go by Mike Tyson theory. I want there to be an undisputed champion in all sports that we all either root for because you love them, whatever, or you hate them and you root against them. But if you beat them, you know it matters. You know you have now ascended to the King of the Mountain.
Yep.
You ever play King of the Mountain when they plowed the parking lots in elementary school, and some kid's on top and everybody else is trying to get on top?
Yep.
I mean, it could never fly today. But
no, I don't think they wanted us doing that.
No,
we tried,
and it
King
was
of the Hill.
fun.
Yeah.
And you felt good when you threw the King of the Hill off.
Yeah.
This is the same thing. You will feel good when you beat the Dodgers. But the Dodgers are not going to make it. We're not talking parity. We're not talking 10 straight NBA champions that are changing. No. They are Mike Tyson. You need to knock them out. And I love it.
You couldn't be more right about this take, Andy. And I know you're in the minority on this because every time I talk about this, people rip my take. They come right after me. For the Dodgers are amazing for baseball. They're not good for baseball. They're great. They're amazing for baseball. And I think a lot of fans can't seem to wrap their heads around this. Let me ask you this. Were the Yankees of the 90s and 2000s good for baseball or bad for baseball?
Good for baseball.
Good for baseball. And that was a hard thing for everybody else to admit. And I know because I couldn't admit it at the time either. But they were good for baseball. They were great for baseball. The Dodgers are great for baseball, too. Now, I've heard this from fans last night because I tweeted this out, and people are like, you can't compare the Yankees of the 90s and 2000s to the Dodgers. The Dodgers just buy and trade for their best players. The Yankees had their homegrown core four. That's great. The Yankees won 114 games in 1998 and then went and traded for Roger Clemens after that. Roger Clemens, who was juiced out of his mind at that point and is a better pitcher than Tarek Skubal. So the Yankees, the 1998 Yankees, probably the best team of the modern era, went out and traded for Roger Clemens, one of the 2 or 3 best pitchers of the modern era, or go back however long you want. They're the Yankees. That's exactly who they were. And by the way, the Yankees very much started trying to buy their championships after about 96, 98, because Steinbrenner was there, and it actually kind of didn't work starting in 01 and 03 and 04. It did not work in the early 2000s.
Yep.
But it's actually worked for the Dodgers, which is really the remarkable thing. And I think oftentimes we don't give them enough credit. They go out and they make these moves. They make these signings. They make these trades. When did they ever fail? I mean, think about it. The Mets go out and pay Juan Soto $700 million. Has that worked out for them? No. Generally, those types of contracts don't work out. Except the Dodgers have gone and got like Shohei Ohtani. It's the best contract in all of sports. Mookie Betts might be the second best contract in all of sports, given what they got from him for the first 5 or 6 years of that deal. Freddie Freeman. You think they regret one bit paying Freddie Freeman?
Nope.
They're not going to regret trading for Tarek Skubal. They're not going to regret. Tucker hasn't been great there, but you think they regret it? No, they get just about every one of these deals right. It is remarkable how good not only are they aggressive, they spend the money, they're also smarter than everybody else, and they don't get enough credit for that because people are too wrapped up in they're just buying championships, they're trading for championships. There's no honor in that. Take your honor and shove it right up your ass. Nobody cares about you honor and dignity or anything like that. They're good for the sport.
I also don't remember us bitching when Danny Ainge put together Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen. And I think that was good for the sport. I think that's good for the sport when the Boston Celtics are now a big three, which adds a whole layer of history, and goes out and competes with the Lakers for titles. Good for sports. I also think a good example, just different because of the salary cap, the 07 Patriots were a wagon.
Yes.
Until Eli Manning knocked them off. And Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin built careers off of beating Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson was Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the big bad Patriots. That creates legacies and history. And when you don't know, to go bigger picture with my Mike Tyson analogy, part of the reason boxing isn't popular is because no one knows who the champions are, who the good guy is. To root for or against, right? You need those measuring sticks in all of sports. The Dodgers are a measuring stick. And the Dodgers, by the way, trade guys that they draft, correct?
Yes. Many of them, in fact.
Although I think this trade was actually acquisition trade. If I was reading some of these are deals they made to acquire these guys. That's good business.
But they always have blue chip guys that they can move in trades.
Right.
They invest in the minor league system. They invest in scouting. They invest in every aspect of the baseball team. And they have gotten to a point where they're saying, we would so much rather trade prospects for established blue chip stars. I remember, when the Yankees went out and got Raul Mondesi, I'm like, how do they still have prospects to make these trades?
Right.
You know why? Because they're actually just simply put more interested in acquiring that player than you. You're telling me the Milwaukee Brewers couldn't have made the trade that the Dodgers made for Tarek Skubal? Of course they could have. In the end, they weren't interested in enough. So shame on the Milwaukee Brewers. Shame on you, Mike Felger. Shame on your organization for not getting it done. Because the Dodgers, simply put, are more interested in winning than you. They're more interested in spending money. They're more interested in trading for players. They're more interested in taking chances. They're more interested in doing all of it. And most importantly, they're smarter and better than you.
That was the one that they're better than you. They're better than the Mets.
Better.
The Mets spend plenty of money.
The Mets have basically tried to do what the Dodgers have done and have failed at it because they're not as smart.
Or I'll even throw out the Padres that we've been talking a lot about. Have thrown a lot of money at a lot of players, and then last year went out and threw prospects to get Mason Miller.
Yep.
Right?
None of it's worked.
They're doing the same thing, the exact same thing, spending a lot of money and trading prospects for elite major league talent. Mason Miller, best closer in baseball, arguably. They went and got him. Did they win the World Series?
No.
So the plan or the ability isn't just what makes it work. You actually have to execute it at an elite level like the Dodgers do.
Not to mention, too, the Dodgers, even with adding Tarek Skubal, are not unbeatable.
They're the Red Sox last night.
They're not unbeatable. If Isaiah Kiner-Falefa could run the bases, the Toronto Blue Jays would be the world champions.
Right.
With the Dodgers putting $1.2 billion on the mound in Game 7.
And that would be your Eli Manning and Giants. And the whole world would be lauding the Blue Jays.
Yep.
Right? Even though they are signing their players to gazillion-dollar contracts.
The Blue Jays have spent a lot of money, too. In the end...
Most teams can.
And you know what? Most teams do spend a lot of money.
We pretend everybody's the A's and the Pirates.
They're not.
They're not.
But you know what? Baseball wants you to think that. I want to get to this on the other side because I kept hearing the Dodgers are so bad for baseball, they're going to cause a lockout. No, they're not. The owners want you to believe that. It's very convenient. The Dodgers are a red herring when it comes to this whole thing in baseball. There's a lockout coming. Yeah, there is a lockout coming. And you know whose fault it isn't? The Los Angeles Dodgers. I'll explain. We'll get into that. 617-779-0985. They're amazing for baseball. Outstanding for baseball. Your thoughts. We'll continue on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Andy, do you want the latest breadcrumb on Franklin Arias?
Yes, please.
The latest trickle of news on Franklin Arias, who is not in the lineup for Worcester today in Norfolk.
He's on a flight to San Diego.
Not that.
Okay.
Yet. Not that. Alex Spear reporting the Red Sox have been open to considering deals involving Franklin Arias.
Oh. Didn't I see somewhere else? Wasn't I reading on Twitter just hours ago that he was untouchable?
The front office, per Alex Spear, does not view him as untouchable.
Okay, good. He should not be. If you've learned anything from the Big Three era of the Red Sox, not the Celtics, it's that no one should be untouchable.
We're on Arias watch at this point.
Let's go.
This is Panda watch. We were just Panda watch.
I remember Panda Watch.
Who doesn't?
I also love pandas.
Feeling here is intense. You cut it with a knife.
Ripped his arm off.
They literally rip your arm off. I tried to get an interview with them. They said it would literally rip your arm off. 617-779-0985. But we were talking about the Dodgers and Tarek Skubal before the break.
Big bad Dodgers.
There's a lockout coming in baseball.
Yes.
And people blame the Dodgers for it. I can't tell you how many fans I've heard from going back to the Skubal trade last night. Like, you think this is good for baseball? There's about to be a lockout in baseball over this. Fans are calling for a lockout. They need to fix this. What unbelievable cover for the owners the Dodgers are. The Dodgers are the best thing to happen to Major League Baseball owners in a generation. You know why? Because you as a fan are now okay with a lockout to stop the Dodgers. We have to fix the sport. It's a threat to the sport. There's nobody happier on planet Earth that the Dodgers are doing this than MLB owners. Do not kid yourself. And don't believe a word they say about competitive balance or anything like that. MLB owners want a salary cap, not because of the Dodgers. They want a salary cap because they've wanted a salary cap for generations. It has nothing to do with what the Dodgers are doing. So, in fact, I bet you they've put them up to this. They are more than happy with this. Go out and spend $1 gazillion because then we'll get the fans on our side, because people are you are sheep in following this. It's like, oh, well, we have to fix the sport. There has to be a salary cap. We can't let the Dodgers do this. You are falling into the trap. You know who's really happy the Dodgers are spending all this money? John Henry. Because John Henry's wanted a salary cap for a number of years. Just about everybody's wanted a salary cap. Go back to 2002 and the near lockout that ended up happening. George Steinbrenner did not want a salary cap, but just about everybody else did. George Steinbrenner and the players didn't want a salary cap, and that's why we still don't have a salary cap at this point in baseball. Now, if Steinbrenner were still alive, he'd be, pretty much doing exactly what the Dodgers were doing, because in the end, teams can't afford to do this. Baseball teams it's a brilliant way to make money. If the Red Sox didn't make John Henry gobs of money, he would not own the Boston Red Sox. He's a smart enough guy to do that. I don't see too many baseball teams going up for sale because everybody's losing money left and right. That's not what's happening here. It is absolute cover for the owners. Do not let them get away with this, but the fans are going to let them get away with this because the fans at this point are so offended by the idea, the morality, the sports morality of the whole situation. The Dodgers trade for the best players in baseball, pay the best players in baseball, give Ohtani essentially $1 billion. And you're so offended by that you're willing to get on board with the owners and you're willing to support a lockout because of this. You idiots. Don't fall for it. Don't buy it. The owners want this. They don't want a cap because of the Dodgers. They want a cap because they want a cap. And they're using the Dodgers as cover for that to get you on their side. Enough.
They want a cap because they want to make money.
Yep. Because they want to. They don't want us to be able to say, John Henry, why don't you spend what the Dodgers spend and the Mets spend? Why don't you spend what the Blue Jays spend? Why don't you spend? We can list 7 teams in baseball spending more money than the Red Sox, 10 teams in baseball spending more money than the Red Sox, and we get to crush them over that.
Right.
If there's a cap, they spent the cap. What do you want? This exists in the NFL. This exists in the NBA. They can't go into the second apron. Right. Oh, they can't. You can't go into the luxury tax. You can't do that.
Think of our 2032 draft picks.
Right. Owners want this because they want it. It has nothing to do with the Dodgers. Don't buy it. It's a load of crap.
It is, and so there's a lot of layers to this because it deals in giving all the teams a chance to win, which baseball has Haven't we had the Rangers? Haven't we had the Diamondbacks? Haven't we had these teams that are the non-power, non-big spending teams win?
If you're smart, you can win in baseball. That's, again, the Dodgers don't get enough credit for being smart. The Mets are dumb. That's why they don't win. They spend a ton of money, but they're dumb.
Right.
The Rays are smart. They don't spend any money, but they're always in it. The Brewers are smart. They don't spend any money, but they're always in it.
I would also argue that baseball is the hardest sport to find the most direct line to success. In the NBA, you know if you have certain players, you're going to be successful. In the NFL, you know if you have one of the top quarterbacks, you're going to be successful. It's a world we were in. We exited here in New England, and we've re-entered, right? It's a pretty direct... Baseball is not that. The Padres would tell you that. The Mets would tell you that. The good teams can be put together in different ways. The Red Sox are telling you that right now. With Siegler and guy like winning games in a non-traditional fashion. So baseball is the hardest sport to just say, well, throw money at the problem.
Right. True. Yeah. I mean, sometimes throwing money at the problem works. Other times it doesn't.
I would say more often it doesn't.
Well, and you're right, Andy. And you can, to your point, you can have the best player in baseball and it doesn't matter. The Angels had Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani on their team for 10 years. It didn't matter. The Pirates have, Skeens hasn't been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year, but, you can have Paul Skeens and it doesn't matter. You can be the Montreal Expos with Pedro Martinez and Vladimir Guerrero and it doesn't matter. So you're right. You couldn't be more right about that.
And then the other aspect is like the idea that this will lift the lower teams so that more teams will have chances at World Series and parity and all these things is idiotic because there's still going to be poorly run teams, whether they have a cap, a floor, or anything in between. There's going to be a lot of guys running teams that just don't know what they're doing and are putting together bad baseball teams. I would also argue that you don't actually want parity.
I couldn't thank
Parity
you,
is bad for your sport.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much. This is like I say this all the time, and it just. I mean, it's like sports blasphemy. It's like, no, of course you want parity. Oh, parity is so bad. Please continue.
What's the most popular sport in the United States of America?
Football, the NFL.
Which sport in the United States has the most dynasties?
Football.
Football.
Yeah.
So you might have heard of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He did a lot of good things around here. You might have heard of Patrick Mahomes. So while football has somehow sold the world that they have the most parity, they don't. You can go from fourth place in your division to first place every year. They love to give you those stats. X number of teams didn't make the playoffs, made the playoffs. But every year, I can pretty much tell you the teams that are going to be in the championship. Every year. It's the teams with the quarterbacks. It's the team. Like it's very simple. So they don't actually have parity, and they're the most popular. I would argue the second most popular sport, NBA. Forever did not have parity. They had dynasties. They had dynastic runs where players would not, the Pistons and the Bulls and the Spurs and that whole thing. Now, they don't have that. They have parity. And that people are starting to question the popularity and the upside of the NBA. The measuring stick dynasties are where success comes from in sports.
Couldn't agree more, because essentially dynasties become villains. Again, were the Yankees good for baseball in the 90s and 2000s? Damn right they are.
Yes.
Were the Patriots good for the NFL in the 2000s and 2010? Damn right they were, because they were the villains you wanted to watch, you wanted to hate them, whatever it is. You either love them or you hate them, but it gives you a reason to watch. Parity is so bad for sports. The NFL's done it perfectly because they have parity in season competition, but in the end, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
So I think MLB is looking at football, right? Like every sport probably should. Why are they good? How do they succeed? What can we mirror? What are we not capable of replicating? All of that. I think they're going down more the road of the NBA. I think this whole CBA and second apron that we're living right here, where you had a superstar player who you told us, well, we had to trade him. You can't have 35% of blah, 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 blah. Like, no one wants to see that. And you're trying to create a world where it's going to be about finances and tearing down teams. And the NBA is going down a slippery slope. Like Dallas, Denver is in the second apron. And oh, my God. And Jokic already hasn't won his second title. And it's talking about how they can't stay there. I just think that baseball thinks they're doing the right thing, like the NBA thought they were, and now you have Brad Stevens saying, "Oh, we got to fix this. We shouldn't have to get rid of our players."
No, baseball wants you to think it's the right thing,
right?
To have a cap, to prevent the big bad evil Dodgers from doing all this. And by the way, the Dodgers didn't really spend any money. I mean, that's prospect capital. They're going to sign Skubal this offseason. I mean, they'll then give him a gazillion dollars, although, I guess with the CBA up in the air, who knows how that's going to work out. But yeah, I mean, that's, they took on, I bet he's probably making $25-30 million a year with arbitration. I'd have to look at, so they took on some money, but it's not like, it's chump change for them. No, but they want you to think that having a cap would be good for the sport. In the end, you just end up in an NBA spot where I'm going to hear 5 years later from John Henry, well, we can't keep Roman Anthony. Don't you see? We're up against the cap.
We already heard that when they didn't have a cap with Mookie Betts.
Yeah. So you're always going, salary caps in sports are just cover for owners. That's all it is. The NFL's salary cap is beyond fake. You can spend essentially what you want in the sport. It's all fake. It's all an excuse. The NBA, I guess it's a little different now with the aprons, but the aprons are there essentially to protect the owners from spending more money on their team. And, they have all these basketball arguments, how much it hurts you to spend money. That's all salary caps are. It's just an argument to say, no, we don't want to spend the money.
100%.
And here's a reason to sell it to you. And MLB's doing the exact same thing. The Dodgers are the big bad wolf, and we have to fix the sport. We have to save the sport from the Dodgers to get you on board with the idea that there won't be baseball next year to somehow save the sport. It's a load of crap.
It's also what I think we all do in our everyday lives when we bitch about inflation and things that we have to buy. You don't really, I see these things on my Instagram all the time, like boat owners that like to go out, and Garvin likes to joke about, maybe have a Miller Lite out on the boat. You know what I'll never bitch about the price about is Miller Lite and gas for the boat, because what am I, not going to go out on the boat and not going to drink? No. I bitch about like gas to drive to work, right? Yeah. Same gas, but I bitch about one because I don't want to put it in to go to work.
Correct.
Like we pick and choose what we bitch about and what we spend money on. Convenient for our needs. It's very frustrating. I hate the money in sports.
Well, get used to it.
I liked our first segment better when I'm dreaming of getting Mason Miller and Xander and Fernando Tatis. Did we have one deal where we're getting all three? I'll take it.
Yeah, no, something along those lines. Because again, money, we just want it to, not exist, and just take on.
We all buy what we want.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The Dodgers do buy what they want, and I'm not going to sit here and blame them for it. What? Because I want to be them. Because I want John Henry to spend, on the Red Sox what the Dodgers spend on their team. Like. In the end, when the Red Sox failed to get Alex Rodriguez, you remember the statement that George Steinbrenner issued? Because Larry Lucchino called them the evil empire.
Yes.
And George Steinbrenner essentially issued a statement saying, to Red Sox fans, spoke directly to Red Sox fans. It's like, basically, don't you wish your ownership group was willing to do what I'm willing to do?
Right.
He was right.
Absolutely.
Steinbrenner was right.
And it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
You mentioned it. He had his ups and his downs.
Oh, no. He wasn't very good. The Yankees got good in the 90s because Steinbrenner was suspended, and they developed Jeter and Bernie Williams and Pettit and Rivera and Posada and all of those guys. And then, they supplemented that by bringing in Tino Martinez and Paul O'Neill and all. But, yeah, actually, like, Steinbrenner got out of control again, and they started bringing in, Javi Vazquez and Kevin Brown and Raul Mondesi and, Yep. But, yeah, in the end, you can go too far. You can be stupid. The Dodgers just aren't stupid when they go about it. Yeah. You can be the Mets.
Yeah, they might do deals that end up being... Kyle Tucker might be one.
It might be one. It hasn't
First
hurt
step
them yet.
toward... Nope.
It has... Because, in fact, they've pretty much nailed most of the moves they've made.
Because they're good.
They're really good.
I also think...
That's who you should want to be. We should not vilify them. Vilify them on the baseball field because you don't want them to win, but in the end, you're going to watch. You will watch them in the World Series. Say they're bad for baseball all you want. You will watch. You can claim that you want parity. Oh, well, we need to create an opportunity for other teams to win. What if you were a fan of the Kansas City Royals? I don't care about being the fans of the Kansas City Royals, to be totally honest. You know why? Because there are about 7 teams in baseball that actually matter. The Yankees, the Red Sox, the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Phillies, the Dodgers, and the Giants. Those are the 7. You want to throw the Braves in there? Fine. You want to throw the Mets in there because it's New York? Fine. But there are about 7 to 8 to 9 teams in baseball that actually matter. And I would make the same argument across sports. There are about 8 teams in the NBA that matter.
Correct.
There are about 8 teams in hockey that matter. In the end, you don't want to watch I don't know, a Rangers Diamondbacks World Series. You know why I know you don't want to watch it? Because you didn't. You didn't. The pitch clock existed. The sport was in the process of fixing itself, and you didn't watch. You know when you came back to baseball and the World Series? 2024 Yankees-Dodgers. That's when you came back. You stuck around last year, and now you're back. You're watching the sport, and you care about it, but you're going to say the Dodgers are the reason why the sport has a problem? You're missing the point.
And do you believe that, let's just say the owners get what they want and they get their salary cap. Do you think the Dodgers will be screwed or still be a good organization?
No, they'll still be the best team in baseball.
Exactly.
You know why? Because they're smarter and they want to win more.
Right. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a little, and I know he's a shell of himself now, but Bill Belichick. Okay, early 2000s, we're allowed to be the most physical defense on the planet. Well, we'll win that way. We'll beat the snot out of your Colts receivers. Oh, you changed the rules? Okay, I'll go get Wes Welker and Randy Moss, and I'll play the game your way, and I'll have a highfalutin offense. Mm-hmm. Because the smart teams, the smart coaches, the well-run organizations are better than you. They'll take the rules, they'll work within them, and they'll beat you.
But no, the Dodgers are the reason why baseball is going to have a lockout. I keep hearing this from people. The tweet I just got from Connor, I hate the Dodgers because they're going to take away baseball for an entire year. This is exactly what the owners want you to think. They've wanted a cap for 30 years, for 40 years. They've wanted a cap for generations and generations and generations, and the players are never, ever, ever going to concede on that unless the fans turn against the players and say, well, we have to fix the game. The Dodgers are cover, and everybody's buying it. You idiots. 617-779-0985. Don't you see it? Seriously, don't you see it? We'll continue. Andy Hart's here, Matt.
Able to say to the entire country and get the support of fan bases and just about every market in America, than to be able to say, hey, look at the trade deadline, look at the last 3 years. What more do we need to tell you than the game needs fixing? So I'm telling you, I think on some level in MLB, they are doing cartwheels about this. Conspiracy theories, again, collusion, call it whatever you want. I think there's a large majority in owners that are thrilled that the good Scooble, because they want to prove that they need a salary cap. And let there be no doubt, what the owners are concerned about is the business of baseball. Whoever gets the trophy at the end of the year doesn't concern them as much as all of their ability to be able to cash in, their collective ability to be able to cash in and be able to control the game more than the players. That's what they want.
Oh, God bless you, Maz. God bless you. I could give him a big smooch on that forehead of his, man. He's so right. He couldn't be more right about this. And you know what the other sign in this is, Andy?
Well,
we just spent the last segment talking about essentially what Maz is talking about there, and that's on his Breaking Balls podcast, videocast, whatever you want to call it. It's great. It's the trade. It's the return for the Tigers. The return's garbage. You're telling me they couldn't have gotten more elsewhere? No, baseball wanted Scooble to go to the Dodgers because they make it an easy argument to the rest of the country. It's, well, the sport needs to be fixed, and the only way to do it is by finally giving us our salary cap. This deal doesn't have really anything to do with money. I mean, it has a lot to do with the Dodgers' willingness to go out and get a guy like Scooble. But, yeah, because they're more interested in winning than you. But it doesn't have to do with money. But by the Dodgers once again bringing in a star player and building a super team, fans get up in arms. They're like, you're ruining the sport. You're ruining the game. We must fix this. You're getting everybody on board with the idea that the game needs fixing. And in the end, I think baseball's manufactured this.
So I normally agree with conspiracy theories. Like, you see these things where, like, you find out presidents start wars for political purposes, those types of things. You watch 24, and it happens all the time over the time of 24.
No, presidents have never started wars for political purposes. That's never existed once.
What do the Tigers get out of this?
They get a salary cap out of it this offseason.
So they're so willing to do that. The professional sports.
Andy, owners have wanted this for going on 40 years at this point, but they will never do it because they've never been able to break the union on it. And the only way they're going to be able to break the union on the salary cap is to get the country to turn against the players. Because in the end, there is so much backing for the idea amongst fans that the game needs to be fixed, that you need to save the game from the evil Dodgers, that They have to have a salary cap. There's no other way. Did you hear that 5 years ago? Did you hear fans claim? I mean, there are always going to be fans clamoring for some type of cap for competitive balance purposes, but it has gone to an extreme that we've never seen before in baseball because of the Dodgers. There are 29 other owners who love seeing every tweet, hearing every phone call from fans, and we'll hear from you at 617-779-0985. The happiest person on earth when you call in to say, the Dodgers are bad for baseball, you got to fix this, you need a salary cap, is John Henry or Hal Steinbrenner or anybody else. Those are the happiest people on earth. This is what they want.
I believe that. I think there is a portion of them. It bothers me to think there's no competitive owners. There's no, like the Steve Cohens of the world that don't want limitations, that don't want anything that hinders their ability to run their team and build their business and chase their championship the way they want. That's the one.
How many Steve Cohens are there?
Not enough. Not enough.
You're right.
Mark Cubans, not enough. Those owners that truly are fans, passion, that you're right. There's more of that. We hear private equity and venture capital and all these things out there, spreadsheets and bottom lines. It's just sad. We need more rich sports fans.
I'm not in the business of saving any MLB owner money. I'm just not. And that's what it all comes down to. It is collusion. Maz uses the right term. It's 1,000% collusion. 617-779-0985. To you, Justin in Lynn. Hey, Justin.
Now, Justin, I have a thought. I think Franklin Arias is going to be moved before the deadline. The fact that he's on the Blue Sox lineup tells me a lot. And I think they're going to go out and get a big bat because I think that's what they really need.
I hope the big bat's out there, Justin. I absolutely believe they're willing to trade Arias. He's out of the lineup today in Worcester. That does not mean that a deal is imminent, but it makes all the sense in the world. They don't play tomorrow, so you sit him today. You don't get him Curtis Meaded out there in Norfolk today, and he doesn't play. And whether or not there's a deal that's already been made, it just gives them the flexibility. That's for sure.
There are tweets out there that are noting that I believe he had played 7 straight games.
Yes, and this is a scheduled day off. There's a lot.
Sure, it is.
You're right. It is a scheduled day off because it makes sense for it to be a scheduled day off. Like, of course, you would sit your top prospect who you might want to trade. I guarantee you they mapped it out this way a week ago. So I think both of those things can be true.
Sure.
Like, they'll say it's a scheduled day off. You're right. It is. Why is it a scheduled day off? Because the trading deadline is tomorrow.
We're scheduled to trade him to the Padres for Fernando Tatis. That's why.
Mark and Lynn. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Matt, I got a question for you and a statement.
Yeah.
My question is, I tuned in the Red Sox game Friday night, and the Red Sox had their home uniforms on. I didn't understand that. I've never seen it before.
They had the red uniforms on, right? Friday night.
With Red Sox across their chest, not Boston.
Yeah. You're right.
No idea, huh?
They haven't worn the Reds in a while. I was actually kind of happy to see the Reds. It had been a minute. So
this isn't really breaking news.
You got a statement for us, Mark?
Yes, I do. Everybody's down on Durant because he loses control of himself from time to time. But that kid plays hard, man. He was mad the other day because he wanted that run to score. He shouldn't have done it, but his heart was in the right place. And then last night he bunts. And he looked like Ricky Henderson running down the baseline.
Mark,
he didn't just say, "I'm giving this up. It's a sacrifice." He was trying to get a hit.
Yeah, which actually was it worked out, but that's he's bunting for a hit there when he should be sacrificing. So it's actually the wrong baseball move.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. Also, what's he hitting this year, Mark?
He's under 200. I get it.
He works, guys. Don't you understand? He works so hard to be one of the worst players in baseball.
Right. Yeah. What
don't you understand about that?
I don't understand. No, and you're right. You like the bunt last night. It worked out beautifully. He's like, yeah, he's trying to, he's bunting for a hit there. Yeah. You know what the call is? Sacrifice bunt. Right. And if you drop down a beautiful sacrifice bunt, defense screws it up, you get on base, that's great. But Duran goes up there, he's bunting the wrong way. Because he's trying to bunt for a hit. Now, it worked out great, but it's still, it once again shows you Jaron Duran has his head up his ass. And it's, oh, well, he's fiery. He cares so much. That's why he was yelling at Chad Epperson the other night. Or maybe he's just a lunatic.
Right.
And, is frankly a problem for this team.
He cares too much.
Yeah, that's his issue. He cares
too much.
Yeah, you're making the point. He cares way too much. And the reason why he's fighting everybody else is because he's fighting himself.
He made Wilson Contreras look like he had the most composure and patience of. If I didn't know anything about Wilson Contreras, I go, wow, he's really patient and quiet and everything. Like, Wilson Contreras is a psycho and a hothead, and probably had every right to go right up Jaron Duran's where. And I kind of looked at that and went, oh, this is the thing people are talking about with him. Do you understand how much of a pud you need to be to make Wilson Contreras seem balanced and normal? That's incredible. Jaron Duran did that. And I am shocked that we're still getting people like our previous caller that's like, but his heart's in the right place. I don't know that it is. I was talking to Andy before the show. Matt, what do you think about this trade? We send Jaron Duran out to San Francisco and we bring back Harrison Bader. We'll give you our headache.
Yeah, right.
We'll take Scooter Boy and let him rip around the seaport.
Yeah, no.
There we go. Fresh beginnings for the two of them.
You're right. He plays hard. Great. You know what? Most guys do. Not everybody.
And also, if he were playing well, we would overlook everything because we're simpletons.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
If he's playing well, the outbursts, whether it's at teammates or crowds or whatever, we'd be raving about how fast he is, how electric he is, all the different things he can do to ignite an offensive attack. The
outbursts are happening because he's not playing well.
Correct.
It's the one common thread in every single one of his outbursts, mostly directed at fans, sometimes directed at the media, this time directed. And we're also missing the point. It wasn't directed at Contreras. It was directed at Epperson. And that's been reported by Julian McWilliams that it was not really Contreras who was the target of it.
But Contreras was pissed. If you that dugout long view of the two sort of in frame.
But he was pissed because he's just like, this guy is just a clown.
His face absolutely looked like this effing guy.
Right. But he's not. People are like, oh, Contreras was composed. Yeah, because in the end, Duran wasn't yelling at him. If Duran were yelling at Contreras probably would have lost.
Thrown a helmet at him.
Yeah, right. Which made it easy for Contreras to go out after the game and say all nice things. You know why? Because it wasn't directed at him. It was directed at the third base coach.
Right.
So,
and usually he's answering for his own crazy actions. It's nice for him to be answering for somebody else's crazy actions.
I see on the phone line 617-779-0985. We'll take care of that next. Matt McCarthy and Andy Hart hanging out.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
I got to stay off Twitter with this Dodgers commentary. It's just awful. I mean, this tweet I just got. MLB playoff ratings will be down. Everybody knows the winner. Wrong. You couldn't be more wrong.
Dodgers World Series last year was so good.
Yeah, people raved about it. It was an entertaining World Series. Now the Dodgers won.
Yeah, they did. They were also an inch away from losing the World Series.
Yeah.
They're more than capable of losing. And they put, again, $1.2 billion on the mound in Game 7 to try to win. And nearly didn't. If Isaiah Kiner-Falefa could run the bases, the Toronto Blue Jays would be the World Series champion. So you can miss me with that commentary. Matt McCarthy and Andy Hart, back to you. How about Jack in D.C.? Hey, Jack.
Gentlemen, good morning. Nope, just turned afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hey.
Caller from D.C., but I am a New Englander. Born in Southie, moved to Scituate, joined the Army at 17, so I've been all over the place in the military. A quick statement, then I'll get to my point. I don't know Maz, but the baseball outlet at Maz that delivers day after day, as I said, I've lived all over the United States and outside the continental United States, is by far the best analysis that the average Joe like myself should tune in. He's thorough. He's respectful to folks. He just does an amazing job. I just wanted to give a shout-out. I don't normally make calls, but I hope he gets that message. Keep it up. Wherever I can, I try and do it. Now, back to your point. I think baseball has gotten a little bit out of hand, bear with me, with these salaries. You know, it's as much as we love sports, it's a business. And the owners of a business take all the risk. So when the owners have all the cost to pay and they still pay these enormous salaries to the top-end players, I personally am for having a cap so you can bring a lot more competition back into it. I would guess, I haven't done the analysis, but I would guess the two top teams spending the most amount of greenbacks would be the Dodgers and the Yankees.
Nope.
Something
Dodgers
along
and
the
the
lines of Dodgers and the Mets. Okay, and of course the Mets, they suck, so they're an anomaly. But I would be for coming up with something it's not as easy to discuss in 30 seconds, where you raise the bottom end of the older players or not so good players. They're still playing the same ball game, but come up with something, because making $500 million to play a sport that's just entertainment, to me, is a little bit ridiculous, and you can't see the end in sight here. I'd like your thoughts on that. Thanks, guys. You do a great job.
Thanks, Jack. I appreciate it. If I felt in any way that the sport would become more competitive if they had a salary cap, sure. Yeah, absolutely. There's no proof whatsoever that a salary cap would make baseball more competitive. Because, in fact, as you said, the top two teams in baseball who spend are the Dodgers and the Mets. The Dodgers are good. The Mets are trash. The Rays are good. The Brewers are good. The Red Sox have spent, say what you will about the Red Sox, Andy, in recent years and how much they have spent over the last 5 years more than $1 billion on their baseball team, and they've pretty much sucked for 5 years. So a cap and a floor does not make baseball more competitive. I just reject that entirely.
So I totally agree and disagree with the caller. $500 million for a baseball player is ridiculous, and it's reality.
It's
I think it's ridiculous that we have trillionaires on the planet.
Yeah.
Also reality.
It's the way it is.
And I don't want some limitation on that. This has always bothered me in everything. When you get into men's and women's sports, or men's and women's entertainment, why is it that? Why does he make X and she only makes Y? No one ever argues that about Taylor Swift, right? Mm-hmm. No one ever needs to say Taylor Swift should be treated equal, because Taylor Swift is the most popular, rich, whatever entertainer on the planet. The market sets the value on someone. Beyonce, the value is set on her, right? Mm-hmm. Caitlin Clark, the value is set on her. She created a world in which she is a star, right? Did anybody have to prop her up or do anything to make her subsidize her existence?
No, we don't need to subsidize the Tampa Bay Rays or the Milwaukee Brewers.
No, figure it out.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of teams do. And a lot of teams that do have the money can't figure it out.
Right.
The Red Sox haven't been able to figure it out.
And baseball, if you don't think that $750 million contracts work, then don't give them out.
Yeah.
Be smart. The Dodgers, I believe I read, they already feel like they paid off the Ohtani contract.
They probably paid it off in about a year.
Right. And I said to you, I think it was off air, I'm not sure, there's billboards at Dodger Stadium when I'm watching the game. I have no idea what they say. Why? Because they're in Japanese. They are targeting an audience a half a world away because they've built a certain business model and plan and approach. Yep. Same thing happened at Fenway for a period of time.
No doubt.
Right?
Same thing happened at
New
Yankee
York.
Stadium.
Yep. Matsui.
I mean the Yankees brand, you go anywhere in the world, everybody knows who the New York Yankees are.
So why do we have to artificially restrict it or limit it? Be better. I hate that phrase in a way, but be better.
Well, again, if a cap and a floor was guaranteed to create more competitiveness, I reject the idea that it creates more competitiveness.
Has the cap and the floor guaranteed the New York Football Jets would be good?
Nope.
How come? You created an environment that's supposed to make them a more competitive football team.
Yeah.
When was the last time they were good?
Well, as we talked about,
multiple CBAs ago in the NFL.
You know what it is? In the NFL, if you have the quarterback, you're going to be good. Right. That's it. It doesn't matter what you spend on the team. The Patriots, were dead last in the league in cash spending forever, and they were the best team in the league. You know why? They had Tom Brady. Right. It's that simple. The Dodgers matter because they're the Dodgers. The Yankees matter because they're the Yankees. There are about 6, 7, 8 teams in the sport that actually matter, that have a brand, that are historic, that all of those things. I don't know. But
there's a caller that the common man kind of view. We got to rein this in. We can't have big contracts. We can't have the Dodgers. It's working.
You know who agrees with that? The owners.
Correct.
The owners.
Who count their money. Do you see a lot of owners trying to dump their teams? Do you see people trying to get out of professional sports and professional baseball?
No.
Why is that?
Well, because the business model works.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
It's interesting how
John Henry's owned the Red Sox for the last 25 years. He's probably wanted a salary cap the whole time. Has he sold because there hasn't been a salary cap at this point?
I don't believe he has.
Because he can't afford to compete. Ken Kendrick in Arizona, how long has he owned the Diamondbacks? Has he sold that team?
How about the Angeles family with the Baltimore Orioles are now kind of like just joining where new baseball is going. The Angeles family historically never spent any money on that team, and their fan base loathed them because of it.
Yeah, and you bring in a new owner there who spent more money, and by the way, the Orioles still suck.
Right.
I mean, Rubenstein went in there and was spending money left and right. Did that work?
Nope.
No, not one bit.
But what is working is the PR campaign. Because I think there is without doing a straw poll on Twitter, I think fans are trending toward something has to be reined in. Whatever the percentage is, I believe more than 50% of fans don't like baseball contracts, don't like the Dodgers, don't like the landscape. And the owners, like what's his name, Smithers or whatever on The Simpsons, is it's working. Mr. Burns, right?
Yep.
Like it's working. Scrooge McDuck is convincing people. Mr. Burns is convincing people. Somehow we're rooting for the gazillionaire over the Juan Soto makes too much money. Does Steve Cohen make too much money?
No.
How does that happen?
Welcome to reality, because they've convinced you of that. Otherwise,
crazy.
It's wild, man. It's wild. How about Jason in Brooklyn? Hey, Jason.
You guys just made me think of how Shaq once was asked, what's it like to be wealthy? And he said, I'm not wealthy. The guy who signs my check is wealthy.
Right.
Which is totally spot on. But I just wanted to weigh in on this Dodger thing. I got all my friends are texting me, this is outrageous about the Dodgers, this, that, and the other. As you guys pointed out, a bag of balls, those, I know one of the prospects is highly touted that they gave up, but the rest, no. And also the Dodgers have the number one ranked farm system in baseball, according to a list I was looking at after the draft that was updated from the draft. So they develop players. They do things correctly, the Dodgers. And who knows with Scooble? Like, you're going to have to pay him a fortune, the lockout possibly coming. They're going for it, even if they can't re-sign him, or maybe, they re-sign him and there's no baseball for extended period. I just don't get this. Yes, we all want to see a different team win. It's nice in the NBA how he's had 7 or 8, new champions in a row. That's not happening in baseball. I get the fatigue of the same team being successful over and over, but the Dodgers are not breaking any rules. They do things correctly. I mean, even go back to the 90s, guys. You remember? Yep. They had like 5 years in a row. They won Rookie of the Year. Every year, yep. Caros, Piazza. So how about everybody try to copy the Dodgers, not just with the spending, but how they actually execute, how they draft, how they hold on to players. I'm a Mets fan. They don't go out and sign idiots like Polanco or Robert. These total bums, absolute rest stop bum. And the Dodgers don't do that. And also, last thing, you guys pointed out about how, they're marketing basically to the globe, right?
Yep.
And that's been so successful. The Yankees flirted with that. The Mariners certainly had it for a long time with Ichiro. They're just on another level. And I think a lot of it, you just got to tip your hat and say, all right, I got to go back to the drawing board.
It is next level, and you couldn't be more right about it. Nobody can speak to that better than a Mets fan. The Mets are basically doing the exact same thing as the Dodgers, except the Dodgers are smart and the Mets are stupid.
Right.
It's really that simple. Like, money doesn't make you smart or stupid.
No, it doesn't. And he brought up the idea, why don't they copy what the Dodgers are doing? Wasn't that what we were sold Chaim Bloom was? When they brought Chaim Bloom from the Rays, it was, you're going to build a Dodgers model where you organizationally draft and develop and have prospects, but have the budget of being the Boston Red Sox to combine the two to build a Dodgers-like team.
I mean, the Dodgers, for a while there, it was mostly homegrown, and then they completely flipped on. They're like, you know what? We're just going to go out and we're going to get Mookie Betts. And, they were in on Bryce Harper. That didn't end up happening. But, we're going to get Betts and Ohtani and Freeman and Scooble. And, they're just going to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's worked out for them.
This is the hate us because they ain't us scenario with the Dodgers.
Well, and it's true. And people say, like, people, have an issue with the Dodgers. They don't want, the Dodgers to win the World Series. Yeah, that's great. You know what you're going to do? You're going to watch them. Mm-hmm. So you can say, I want parity in baseball. I don't want the Dodgers to win every year. I don't want and by the way, they've won back-to-back, which is it's not like they've won 5 or 6. I mean, this is not the Yankees of the 50s, all right? They've won back-to-back. They're the first team in 25 years to go back-to-back. They're not historic in that sense.
Right.
So let's not act like, oh, they win every year. It's been 2 years. Calm down. But not to mention, too, if they weren't in the World Series, you know what you're probably not doing? You're probably not watching. Because if you get the Diamondbacks and the Rangers like you did in 2023, just 3 years ago, with the pitch clock after the game had been fixed, you didn't watch because you didn't care. So say all you want, say anything you want about the Dodgers and how they're ruining the sport and how you're not going to watch. You're going to watch and you're going to care what's going to happen with
Absolutely. Not only do you not care, you don't know. When teams like the Diamondbacks and the Rangers, like, you're like, who's on that? Even fans, even fans of baseball don't know every team, don't know some of the smaller market teams, the young players, the teams that don't have the stars. Stars drive sports. Mm-hmm. I'll go back to it again. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, like what they developed in college and are now taking to the WNBA.
Stars matter.
Stars matter. And it almost doesn't matter if the star isn't the best player, because that's becoming more and more a thing, right, in sports. Stars drive interest and ratings and rooting, and you watch the Dodgers to root against them.
How about Dan in the car? Hey, Dan.
Hey, how's it going? So this whole Dodgers thing, it's crazy because years ago I used to hate, I said the same thing that you were hearing, like, okay, they just buy championships. But my philosophy has flipped in the past few years. It's like, you know what? They want to win. They're going out. They're getting the best that they can. They're not getting, as you said, like the Placido Polanco type players or just like the sub guys. And it's frustrating for other teams, but it also creates hate watching, and hate watching gets a lot of attention. Like, I don't like Logan Paul, but when I saw that he was going to fight someone, I hate Logan Paul, so I was going to watch hopefully him get his butt kicked. So, and it's the same reason, like, I stopped enjoying the Red Sox this year, is I don't like Craig Breslow. He literally is just trying to be cheap about everything, and that's why I started being a Yankees fan this year, because it's like, you know what? They're going to make a splash today or tomorrow. They're going to get
Yankees?
somebody. And
the Yankees are a part of the problem, too, because the Yankees are not the Yankees anymore.
Wait, and you also stopped rooting for the Red Sox to root for the Yankees. That is really weird.
No, I just cut him off. I don't want to hear from him anymore.
Yeah, that was a strange call. I could have seen you stop rooting for the Red Sox to root for the Dodgers. Although that's difficult. The games are so late. Can't watch them.
How about Mike? What's up, Mike?
Hey, McCarthy. Hi, Hart.
Hi.
Welcome to the Hub. I love listening to you, man. You do a great job.
Thank you.
So I just want to say, I think it's funny, all the people you're talking about, they want like a cap. Because if you, not to cross sports, but if you go across the pond over to the NBA, they talk about all these aprons and stuff. So they make a cap now. In 8 years, they put in 2 aprons, and then they're going to trade Roman Anthony for 38-year-old Mike Trout and tell you it's because they want to be competitive. So I don't really know what everyone wants out of it. I don't really see the point. Like you said, at the end of the day, like, it's the same thing in the NBA as it would be with the MLB. No one watched the Pacers in the finals. No one cares. It's all about the good teams and the franchises that have pop. If you put a salary cap on it, all you're doing is giving those lesser teams more of an excuse not to spend up to it and not look to win.
There's also no guarantee that the lesser teams that you rightfully don't want, Mike, and Andy and I don't want, but the sports morality people out there, they want the Pittsburgh Pirates to have just as much of a chance. They want the Cincinnati Reds to have just as much of a chance as the New York Yankees. All right. In the end, nobody truly wants that because you're not actually going to watch, but at least you can, say that, like, that doesn't help your sport one bit.
No, the lack
there
of
are about 8 teams that matter.
Star power, the lack of star power, which comes with parity, is bad for any sport. Like, again, I'm not a soccer fan. Why did I, in part, love the World Cup?
Because they were big-time blue blood nations that you want to watch.
And their stars were doing the damage.
Yep.
The ones that I was told to pay attention to, or the ones that I see in ads or see on social media, whatever, were the ones that were scoring goals and of notoriety. That allows me to quickly get invested, to quickly connect with a team that is not my own. I understand your own team, you're going to know everybody. You're going to like Sigler, you're not going to like whatever. But when you're watching as a casual, because your team isn't in it or been eliminated, whatever, stars and storylines and narratives, it's where it becomes more entertainment than it does competition, right? And the WWE, you have to build up, right, stars to then either root for or against, right? Like, it's really no different.
No, it exists.
It's just unscripted. Or, according to Maz, maybe it's slightly scripted if they're colluding.
There is definitely collusion in baseball with this Skubal trade, that's for sure, because the owners want this. 617-779-0985. Hopefully we've done our part to, cut through the owners' BS, to change your minds, change your opinions about this. The Dodgers are actually good for baseball, not bad, and you're just being a mindless sheep if you're just buying into the fact that hopefully we've convinced you of that. We do want to get to Patriots training camp as well. We have not talked Patriots at all in the first 2.5 hours of the show. We'll do that. We are on Arias watch. He is sitting today for the Worcester Red Sox.
Sitting in a plane flying west?
I have not heard that one bit. I don't think he is. Not yet, at least. More trade deadline updates as they come in throughout the day. We'll continue. It's Matt McCarthy and Andy Hart here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The
Matt McCarthy and Andy Hart hanging out until 2 o'clock today, 617-779-0985. We were at Patriots training camp last week, Andy. This is the second practice they had been out there for, I think?
Yep, you were minimizing it. You were kind of...
as I should have been.
Crapping all over it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they weren't exactly... wasn't exactly football.
It's part of the process. You got to trust the process. I don't know if you've heard.
I have heard that. When has that ever worked out, by the way?
Never.
Yeah.
Well, now, technically... the process in Philly is about to win a title with my boy JB.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have happened if the Celtics hadn't helped him.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to it.
The original process was like Jaleel Okafor and Nerlens Noel.
Oh, yeah. This is like an alligator process. You're just running all over back and forth.
Trust that eventually there's going to be an owner out there who doesn't want to pay for something, and then he'll send you a player.
Yeah, because optionality is always key.
You always want it. What have you made of the first week or so of Patriots training camp?
So I'm starting to buy into this offense. And I know you're right. Pads are barely on. They haven't hit anybody that doesn't have a Patriots logo. We get into the whole thing that I think you and I talked about at one point, but Vrabel brought it up. Like on the practice field, the Patriots can never have a good play. Because either the defense sucks and the offense made a play, or the offense sucked and the defense made a play. The Patriots can never have a good play until they start preseason games or joint practices. That being said, and there's been a little inconsistency with Drake May, because I still think he's a young gunslinger, whatever you want to call it. Starting to buy into this offense. If this offensive line can play a lick, if your boy Will Campbell can play a lick, if Elijah Vera Tucker can stay on the field, if Morgan Moses can stay on the field, and I know I'm lining up some ifs there, there's some firepower.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There is some ability, not going 07 yet, not comparing Randy Moss arrival and A.J. Brown arrival or any of that, not doing it, but I am also a big Josh McDaniels fan. And I think when you give Josh...
You and every other member of the media. I wonder why.
He says with disdain, absolute disdain, like he normally uses for the media that likes Alex Cora.
Yeah.
The same disdain.
I wonder why the media is really friendly with Alex Cora.
Is Josh McDaniels a top 5 offensive coordinator?
Sure, yeah.
Is Drake May...
I think he's a good offensive coordinator, however you want to rank it. I don't care about offensive coordinators because it's the most overrated position, coaching position in all of sports.
Wow. That was a blow to a lot of egos out there.
Yes, the coaches' egos. The coaches who talk to you to tell you how important they are.
Yeah, there is a lot of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Patriots offense is going to be good. They got good coaching, a good quarterback, good weapons. Like, the biggest storyline in camp is too many receivers. In New England, the Patriots, the biggest storyline is too many receivers. We went like 10 years in a row wondering how crappy the receivers were going to be for yet another year. Or overpaying for Antonio Brown, who was a whack job, or over-trading for Mohamed Sanu, who's a whack job, or over-drafting N'Keal Harry. Now it's, I don't know, can we keep all these guys? Who are we going to trade? Efton Chisholm's good. Kyle Williams, you got to give him a chance. Like, imagine that. Like, in a year and a half, it feels like one of the many things that Vrabel has turned around is this wide receiving core. And when you marry weapons with the guy that we all think Drake May can be, will be.
Yep.
I know you're not as high on him as maybe Beetle in the midday show. But Drake May's good.
Yeah, he is.
Yep. And his weapons are good.
Oh, yeah, they are.
And Josh McDaniels is good.
Yep.
And he has an ability to game plan. Like, they have a big receiver. So, like, one of the storylines, A.J. Brown going against Christian Gonzalez all the time. Cool, we got a big receiver against a corner. They're getting better. Oh, we got Pop Douglas going against Marcus Jones, two quick athletic guys. We have Mac Hollins, who's whatever he is. Like, the variety that this offense could bring to run, it's like, other than tight end, it feels like you kind of have multiplicity, like different ability. Optionality, to steal a Brad Stevens term. This is actual optionality I care about, not a 2032 second-round pick and how I can pair that up with other assets.
How you can pair that up with the 47-year-old Paul George at that point.
Correct. No. This is optionality of actual human beings who play the sport that I want to watch. Optionality of receivers and linemen. I don't want to go down the whole road of, like, elite offense and, like, but I think they can be really good offensively. Score some points and better schedule and all that. Be damned. If you score more points, you win more games.
That's the type of analysis you only get here. Score more to win. I'm with you. I mean, I think this offense, they have a much higher ceiling than they've had in quite some time.
Can they be the best offense in football?
No, I don't. I think that's going a little too far.
Shot that down pretty quick.
Because I don't know if Drake May is quite that. I know he had a great year last year against
MVP runner-up.
Right, yeah, against really
70+% completion percentage.
Right, against really bad competition. And then when he played good competition, he had a 58% completion percentage.
So he learned from it.
Well, I would hope he's learned from it.
Boom,
I would
better
hope
quarterback.
He's grown from it. Yes, what it's all coming down to for me, Andy, is I don't think there will be any excuses for Drake May this year. He's got good coaching. He's got good weapons. They've improved the offensive line. That's maybe my one, still question with this, team is Will Campbell. He's had a good camp so far. I also do wonder how much of that is the Patriots' pass rush or lack thereof. Will Vera Tucker stay healthy? Will Moses stay healthy? Can Lomu play? There, is Wilson what we think at center?
Mm-hmm.
What are we really basing that on?
Nothing.
Really nothing at all. So there's
athletic profile.
There are some ways it can go wrong on the offensive line, but that unit has far more potential than it's had in years. I fully acknowledge that. So given all of that, yeah, they've put Drake May in a great position to succeed, and he better be good to damn good.
Oh, you're good. You're setting Drake May up to fail. You're setting Drake May up to be criticized.
I think the Patriots have set Drake May up to fail. Although Drake May will not be criticized in this town. He is a golden goose at this point.
Do you see him buying lemonade from the little girl at the camp? He's a saint.
He seems
a borderline saint.
Delightful, and his wife is even more delightful. Everybody loves her. She's the queen of the. So people, you're not allowed to criticize Drake May. Like there is something about it. You say he sucks in the playoffs, and people get very defensive.
I look at, and I'm a big believer that when you start saying the ifs, they're usually 50-50. Mm-hmm. When season plays out, if Vera Tucker, if Moses. So in my reality, one of them is going to miss time. Because it's two 50-50s. You probably get one of them. But the offensive line, even if things go wrong, to me is better suited to deal with it.
I agree.
The coaching, even if things aren't perfect, is better than when you had Alex Van Pelt. Right?
Agreed.
Drake May, if things go wrong and he's not as good as he was last year.
He's not Mac Jones.
He's not Mac Jones or Cam Newton.
No.
So even the downsides are better than the recent the wide receiver position. Even if it's not among the top 5 or 6 groups in football, it's better than what we've dealt with.
It's still a top half of the league unit.
So everything that's an if, even the downside is not catastrophe.
Agreed. I think they've put themselves in a good position. Offensively, I like where it's trending. I do.
And the latest thing, tempo. You've been reading the tempo. Andrew Callahan's writing about tempo.
A lot of tempo.
You like tempo talk?
I like tempo talk.
It's actually a Josh McDaniels staple that he does enjoy.
They really didn't use a lot of tempo last year, probably because Drake May couldn't handle it, but that's okay.
Okay, young player. You said that with tone. I don't think more like probably not something you want to throw at a young quarterback as he's learning a tough offense.
Yeah, so he can't handle it.
You're good. You're good.
He couldn't handle it.
I love the spin.
Yeah.
But there's reality to that. Second year in a row in the offense. Older, smarter, more knows Josh better, knows different things. Like, they have the upside of this offense. The floor is low and the ceiling is very high. Let's put it that way. In draft, prep terminology.
Yeah.
This offense should have a pretty high floor. Like, they shouldn't suck.
If they suck, it's a massive story because they shouldn't.
And they could be elite. They could be 30-plus points per game kind of offense because Drake even talked about it. They faded in some games last year where, like, they would have spurts a second into a third quarter but not be able to really put their foot on the throats. Tom Brady in 2007, remember when he said, we're trying to score 50 points every game?
Yeah.
We want to kill people. I think this offense should take that approach. I think this offense should say, we're trying to score every time we have the football. I'm not a rookie quarterback anymore. You're not a first-year coordinator. We got the weapons. Don't play timid. Be the aggressor on all occasions.
Ryan?
Is this... I mean, you're talking about two, as it seems right now, two very different personalities in Tom Brady and Drake May.
Yes.
Can Drake May develop that, like... I mean, you got to be psychotic to walk out there and go, we are trying to run up this score on you because you develop a reputation like that. Tom Brady by 2007, I think, was that guy and has proven he is absolutely that guy throughout his entire career. And I think we're unfortunately seeing the byproduct of that in his post-playing career. Do you think Drake May has that, like, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, when my foot's on your throat, I am going to step harder mentality?
I do. I think he's a silent assassin. I think he's nuts.
I think that is a very compelling thing to watch for with Drake May because listening to him on Friday when he was doing his media availability, my biggest takeaway was he sounds like he belongs. He's not talking as fast. Not everything starts with like the boomhauerness of him when he first got to this city, it's gone. And I think part of the reason he talked as fast as he did is because he was nervous. And I hear him now, and he sounds more confident. His answers were slower. I was able to understand what he was saying. I am now curious if that is something that is going to start to seep its way into his personality. But you're telling me, Andy, you think it's been there all along.
Absolutely. As somebody who in a former life talked to him on a weekly basis,
sure,
he would never admit fallibility or like that there was a weak moment or a weak aspect or something he couldn't do or wasn't, or he believes he's the best there is. He believes he's the biggest, the fastest, the strongest, the most accurate, the best deep ball, the smartest. He believes all of that at his core, and he's got a little bit. He also thinks he's good at everything, growing up with brothers and basketball and baseball and shortstop and all the... No, he has that. He has an arrogance to him. I don't know. That puts, I guess, a negative spin on it. Confidence, cocksuredness.
Confidence would be the
confidence.
polite way to say
whatever you want to call it, he has it. And that's growing, as you said, with comfort. Just, that's obvious, comfort. It's growing with, he mentioned the other day something about, like, we put some pretty good things on tape last year. I don't know if you guys, kind of like a reminder, like, did you guys see our offense for most of the year? We were pretty damn good. And then I also think it helps that he truly does trust Josh McDaniels. Remember last year, he would do this, like something would happen and he would run to celebrate while pointing at the sideline. That was to Josh because Josh told him how something was going to play out, and it played out the way Josh told him. So that trust is part of it. And then the last thing is what we just talked about. He was good, and then you gave him A.J. Brown and said, just throw it to this guy. He catches most things if you just throw it in his catch radius. So I think that adds to that arrogance or cockiness or whatever you want to call it.
Are you sure he's that?
Oh, I'm sure. 100% sure.
I know, when he, walked in and, did the radio show with you, he was, confident.
Always.
Yeah, always. See that in a big moment on the football field?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, so not totally yet. We've seen glimpses.
That's a problem. That's a problem, when it actually matters. Are we totally forgetting the most important piece of the Super Bowl which was the reporting from Melissa Stark on the sideline that Mike Vrabel had to go over to Drake May in the middle of the Super Bowl, put his arms around him and say, "You're good. Remember that." Mm-hmm. Are we forgetting the mental damage that Drake May suffered in that game?
If it's damage, then we are forgetting it. I mean, if it's experience, then we are not.
Can you imagine Bill Belichick ever having to go over to Tom Brady and say, "You're good. Remember, you're good"? Because Brady was so, at that point, broken, did not have the confidence, was nervous, whatever it may be. You want to talk about interviews? How about Drake May when he sat down, when right before kickoff at the Super Bowl, when NBC interviewed him? Mm-hmm. That guy was scared crapless. So,
I think that's strong.
It's a Super Bowl. But
that's strong.
To act like Drake May is all the time Mr. Confidence, and I'm sorry, I think there's a mental component to his game that showed up in the playoffs that is concerning to me.
So anywhere else, that would not be a question, I believe. Mm-hmm. Maybe San Francisco.
Yep.
But almost anywhere else in the NFL world, that wouldn't be an issue.
Yep.
But yes, following Tom Brady, and I know there was a gap, but he follows Tom Brady. That's just the reality.
Yeah.
People are going to forget Cam Newton and freaking Mac Jones. It's Brady, and now it's Drake May. Yes, he has to measure up to the famous story that Tom Brady fell asleep waiting to go out on the field against the Rams.
That's right.
I don't believe Drake May is falling asleep there.
No, I don't think so either.
And I do believe we've seen aspects of too amped up or nervous early in games, and we've seen aspects of him when it's difficult. The one with Josh McDaniels in Denver. This is hard.
This is hard.
And he's like, it's supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
He's like the old sage veteran told him it's supposed to be hard.
Right, exactly. It's not your regular season schedule. You're playing a big boy defense now, and you can't have your completion percentage drop 14 percentage points.
And you
can't have that.
Go to North Carolina.
Yep. Where they didn't win.
Well, no. They won early in seasons. They did a little bit of the BC thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know how BC, when they have their good years, they're right on the cusp of being like a top 10 team, and they play Notre Dame and then they lose?
I don't remember any of those.
Okay, well, they've had them.
30 years ago at this point.
Yeah, they were a while ago.
Yeah, a long time.
Drake,
ancient history.
I listened to an interview once. This might have been pre-draft, and he was talking about sort of the couple years where they would win, 4-0, 5-0, and then they'd play like Clemson.
Yeah, they'd play like real competition.
And he said that was sort of the story of my career there, and I was like, I appreciate the honesty.
Yep.
Don't know that I need it.
Well,
and that is the one question he needs to answer.
It's the story of last season.
He just doesn't, but I think that's with all quarterbacks. Remember when Peyton Manning was the ultimate loser?
Yeah.
Loser.
Yeah.
Absolute loser. Couldn't win. Mm-hmm. People thought he got frazzled in the big game. And now that's all forgotten because he won.
Well, because he ended up going up against Rex Grossman in the Super Bowl, which is pretty much what Drake May did on his road to the Super Bowl. He basically played Rex Grossman, and Rex Grossman.
Right, until he didn't.
Until he
kind of still played Rex Grossman, but lost to Rex Grossman.
But he was so Rex Grossman himself, he out-Rex Grossmaned the other team's Rex Grossman.
But I do think that the challenge he faces is confidence versus overconfidence versus no confidence. Because he was accused as a rookie of being too confident, trying to make too many plays, do too much. Don't try to do too much. Don't have as much confidence in your arm. Don't have as much confidence in your ability to make don't be flipping the ball Patrick Mahomes style in certain situations. So don't be too confident, but also don't admit that it's hard. Or don't admit, another one, the mic'd up one at the end of the Super Bowl, it was right near the end. Do you remember when Vrabel picks him up and goes, "Do you want to finish?"
Yeah.
Excuse me? That bothered me. That there was a situation where the coach is at, "Do you want to finish?"
You had a boo-boo.
That should not be a consideration in that. So I agree with you, but I just don't have the same concerns you do, because I think anywhere not named New England, people would be eating this up. Because don't we have to ask the same thing about, like, Josh Allen?
Oh,
like
yeah.
That ability to finish and win and get over the hump.
I do ask that about Josh Allen. I do ask that about Lamar Jackson. So I hold it against
the best quarterbacks in football.
Yes, I judge quarterbacks by their performance in the playoffs.
Correct.
Allen has not been good enough. Jackson has not been good enough. Drake May has not been good enough. Like I'm very consistent across the board in that. So I will hold it against him the way I hold it against
high class problem.
Herbert. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But so that would be my point. It's a high class. You're talking about the last 1%.
Yep.
The last 2%, whatever that number is.
If Drake May is that special, he's that.
Well,
then that's the way
Beadle says he is.
That's the way we talk about him here. That's the way we talk about him.
And
so
we're hoping
let's hold him to that standard.
It's reality.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're going to.
Yep.
And there will start to be questions. If it starts to be, how come in the postseason he doesn't win like Herbert? Or how come great regular season and then turnovers in the postseason like Lamar?
Yep.
But my point would be, you're still comparing him to the best in the game. He's still going to be in that group of either the not Mahomes Brady types, or maybe he is Mahomes Brady type. Like that's the final part of his game to pull together.
He's also never going to escape that. I mean, you just talked about, all right, we are at the point where we don't even acknowledge that Cam Newton and Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, by the way, for all you creepy Zappi people that I had to live through, that those guys even played quarterback here. Even if he does surpass Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, he will always have the looming shadow of Tom Brady over his shoulder. That is never, ever, ever going away if you're Drake May. And that's going to be another factor in how do you deal with that kind of pressure of you are now the guy after the guy officially based on everything that we've seen. Is this something that is going to cause him to maybe withdraw a little bit, or is Mike Vrabel going to have to be there to shake him and go, no, you're actually good, like don't worry about it?
Well, the funny thing is with that challenge, and I agree with you, that's a
totally different thing that no other quarterback, like you mentioned, like who did Peyton Manning have to follow? No, who cares? Because Peyton Manning was the guy.
Right,
Jim Harbaugh, right?
Yeah,
yes,
I think actually, you're right. It was Jim Harbaugh. Like
Jeff George.
Nobody
like
in the NFL is going to have to deal with that specific pressure that whoever the quarterback of the New England Patriots is.
And the weird part of that is it grows with his success. If he wins a Super Bowl, now you entered into that club, but Brady got 6 here. So now you're facing that challenge of chasing, your tail. Like chasing, the cat owner dangling. You're never catching it. You're never, ever catching Tom Brady. I'm sorry, you're not going to win 6 or 7 Super Bowls. It's just not going to happen. But that will be the conversation. So his own success will actually increase those conversations, not lessen them. Because if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, doesn't even get back to another Super Bowl, then you're not even in the discussion. But your success will magnify your challenges, which is very weird.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown won a championship. Everyone's like, who cares? They only won 1.
Exactly.
The same thing. He wins a Super Bowl. Brady had 6. Who cares?
Right.
617-779-0985. You want some more not breaking news on the trade front?
Oh, I do.
An update on a Red Sox player.
Uh-oh.
Potentially in trade talks.
This isn't really breaking news. Powered by Tim McCone.
We'll get to that next here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Has previously had a number of the Jarren Duran to San Diego connections. He says this: the Red Sox finally seem serious about making Jarren Duran available.
Now or this winter? Because now we have Bob Nightingale said they're going to trade him this winter.
I'm not here to say reporters do good or bad jobs, Andy. That's not. I'm just going to say I'm going to go with anything anybody else says compared to what Bob Nightingale has to say at this point. I think at one point Nightingale was a little bit more tapped in than he is.
Lost
now.
his fastball a little bit.
May have
back 9.
Lost his fastball just a bit, but I'm not here to put the man down.
Jarren Duran is still on this team, and the Red Sox win a World Series. Is the season a failure? I think it is. I think it is. If Jarren Duran is on this team and the Boston Red Sox win a World Series this season, I consider it to be a failure.
And people think I'm the hardest person on Duran in town, and I'm hard on Duran. Don't get me wrong.
I gave him every excuse until that Milliken crap started.
We'll see.
It's too much.
No,
it's too much for him.
Okay. And I love Milliken. You love Milliken. We all love Milliken. In the end, we can't judge our opinion of Jarren Duran just because he threatened to beat up our friend.
I can, and am actively doing it. And then it's just, because I heard you bring this up, a couple nights ago when you were in for Joe Matt, that, that's a personal thing because we here know Tyler as a person and know he's a good kid and it definitely should not be spoken. No, I mean, I don't think anybody should be spoken to like that. I get it. It's not an on-field thing, and if that's something as a Red Sox fan that isn't even a blip on your radar, I completely understand that. For me, it's totally different. I gave him every out. I gave him every excuse. I understood he's probably emotionally complex, and then you start doing the fake tough guy thing and you start trying to bully people, I have zero patience for that. He's been given every opportunity and he continues to squander it. And this thing with Wilson Contreras was just like the latest example.
But you'd have more patience for that. You have zero patience for that now.
Zero.
If he was batting .315 with 26 home runs,
beat the hell out of
you
him.
wouldn't be at zero.
Me personally, no, I'd still say get rid of him. He's a clown, and I don't have.
You might, but it wouldn't be at zero. It would make it a more you would have thoughts in your head about he is really good. I mean, I know he threatened to beat up my friend, but he is really good.
Listen, if Jarren Duran were hitting 300 and was the player he was in 2024, he could draw and quarter Tyler Milliken, and I'd be all for it.
To that point in 2024, when there was trade talks, I was someone who was saying you're crazy to move on from him. And even when he had that backslide beginning in 2025, I always thought if he can be somewhere in between, a 7.6 WAR or whatever he was in 2024 versus like the 256 hitter he was the next year, if he is somewhere in between there, the Red Sox nailed it with him. They took the right approach. It wasn't a matter of bringing him up way too early, but he's not, and he continues to show you, I think, who he really is. And I think, for his benefit, getting out of this city would be great. Go to Kansas City where nobody cares about you. In fact, they will defend you when you do crappy things to your teammates and crappy things to the media. They will actually defend you in those markets.
People have defended Duran here. There's still a group of Red Sox fans.
We've had those callers.
Trust me, there's still a group of Red Sox fans who defend the guy.
Shrinking.
It's rapidly shrinking because, again, he's batting .199. But I think there's a group of Red Sox fans who like Jarren Duran, very much like Jarren Duran.
He tries hard. The guy earlier. He tries hard. He works hard.
Yeah.
Don't you like a guy who works hard? Thought this was Boston, baby. Blue collar, work hard.
Most professional athletes work hard.
It's still a struggle for him to feel like track the ball in left field and figure out where he's going. He's seen thousands of them.
He's not a good baseball player.
No, he's not.
He's not.
I think he's
and,
one of these.
And he could be if he could get out of his own way. And it's sad to watch. I mean, it is, because Jarren Duran's problem is he's fighting himself the whole time. And that's why it's never going to happen here for him again. And I think finally the Red Sox have realized it. They have stood by him. They have stood by him. They have stood by him. And the morning after, or the afternoon after the incident in Sacramento the other night, Julian McWilliams reported that the Red Sox were willing to trade Jarren Duran, which was the message to baseball. Okay, I know we've talked about trading him in years past, but we wanted, in the words of Jeff Passan, a 7 WAR return. Baseball was offering a 4 WAR trade value for Duran this past offseason. Now the Red Sox have moved off that. They think he will be addition by subtraction. I think there's a very good chance he's gone by tomorrow.
To San Diego?
San Diego would seem to make sense. But Duran at this point is nothing more than a sweetener or a throw-in in a deal.
Right.
So,
yeah.
All right, let's just say, for the sake of discussion, Fernando Tatis. All right?
Okay. I'm listening.
You bring Tatis in. He's playing right field in San Diego. You could theoretically move him back to the infield, or you put him in left field at Fenway Park.
Sure.
Jarren Duran's not going to play here anymore. He's the sweetener in the deal. He's not what's going to get it done, but that's what Jarren Duran is at this point. He's the throw-in. He's the, all right, we want to get this deal over the line. We'll put Duran in on top of it.
Especially for a team that has interest.
Yeah.
Not just throwing it a team that doesn't have interest or doesn't have a need, like they'll fill a void.
Yep.
And they have interest. So it could be a nice sweetener.
Would you trade Franklin Arias and Jarren Duran for Fernando Tatis right
Absolutely.
now?
Absolutely.
I would too.
See what happens.
At this point.
That is
And
swinging.
I've got questions about Tatis.
Yeah, you should.
do. But I have questions about Arias.
I had similar questions about Curtis Meade.
Yes. But Tatis has high level upside.
Right. And did you say he's 27?
He's 27.
That's amazing. Feels like he's been around forever.
I know. Well, because he pretty much has been.
He was the face of baseball a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that
is one of the biggest stars in the sport.
That is upside. That is upside. And that is change of scenery to Boston. If we fancy ourselves, we bring a different energy and knowledge and atmosphere for him. Yeah, that could work. Excites me.
Since the steroid suspension in 2022.
Oh, that.
Yeah. Here are his OPSs. 770, 853, 833, 814, 753.
Yep.
Not great.
No, but I'll take it.
Oh, I'll take it too.
What's his contract? We said through 31.
He was one of these guys that I think jumped
2034.
Yeah, they got rid of his
2034.
arbitration early to not spend as much money going forward, and obviously because of that suspension that McCarthy just brought up, all of a sudden that contract looks really, really bad.
Yeah, I would. That is a move that ignites your fan base. That unifies everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other aspect we haven't talked about, and I know we're getting up against it.
Tatis has played a bunch of second base this year, too. I didn't know that.
Okay. So we have that option as well. But I think it's more likely you would just, if you send Duran in the deal, don't you just put him in left field for now, pending the return of Roman Anthony? That's what I would do.
Probably. Yeah, he won a Gold Glove in right field last year, but you have Abreu here, so you put him in left.
Are you trying to make any moves to bolster your infield, even though I think the belief is that Curtis Mead is probably going to be your second baseman going forward?
Yes, you need to bolster your infield because you don't right now have. I mean, you could argue that Arias is a long-term solution, and he is, but do you believe in Franklin Arias' power surge this year? This is what has catapulted Arias into the top echelons of prospects in baseball. He hit 8 home runs last year. He's got like 20 plus this year.
So he's Mead.
So it's kind of, not to say come a little bit out of nowhere. He's always had a good bat, good hit tool, considered smooth in the field, so there are no problems there. But like, there's a huge difference between being, a shortstop who can hit a little bit and, is good in the field, between being a shortstop who can field, hit, and has power. I mean, that is a completely different kind of player. So is that real? And I don't know if I'm convinced it's real.
Yeah, I brought it up earlier as the mindset that John Henry might be in. I'm kind of in the mindset where I don't really care about prospects. I'm kind of sick of hearing about prospects and how good they could be based on this run of they haven't lived up to it. They haven't panned out. And you have the opportunity to get big league talent, superstar caliber talent. And then you mix in, like you're talking about Springer earlier, who's 36-ish, mid-30s, late 30s, whatever. Tatis is entering the prime of his career.
He is.
Literally entering the prime of his career.
Swing's probably good for Fenway Park, too.
Right.
He even since the steroids, he's been pretty much a mid-20s home run hitter.
Right.
Which, I mean, that's
on
like,
the Red Sox makes you a power hitter.
That's like adding Hank Aaron to the Red Sox.
Right.
You kidding me?
So I would do that in a heartbeat. Could you look bad? Sure. But I also have this theory. If you're going to look bad, the NL West is a good place to look bad. Send your star prospect to a place where a lot of people won't ever actually get to watch him play.
Like Rafael Devers.
Not in the American League. But like
NL
if the guy's in the American League and you're going to see him a lot, or if he's on the East Coast, like things get kind of forgotten about, dead and buried on the West Coast. So worst case scenario, he's good for the Padres.
If Trevor Story had come in here and performed right away, nobody would have cared that Xander Bogaerts was gone.
Right.
But instead, we just have this direct comparison. If you managed to turn Jarren Duran into Fernando Tatis on paper, if you said that at the beginning of the season, you'd be like, that's crazy. What a haul for the Boston Red Sox. Now at this point, I just think that you've got a bunch of guys that could probably stand to use a change of scenery. And oh, by the way, because I've been obsessing on this point since I saw the Ellie De La Cruz news. I remember Craig Breslow last year saying we did not have any untouchables at the deadline.
Right.
We wanted to make moves, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said other teams have to like our players. So when I see Ellie De La Cruz, they're going to throw all the prospects in the world at him, but then they can't actually come to any agreement on major league players. I'm led to believe that the Reds looked at your roster and went, your streak is nice, but your team isn't. So what exactly am I going to be getting back for one of our cornerstone players who, again, plays a position that the Red Sox could stand to get? I don't know that they necessarily have all the ammunition that other fans believe that they do.
And the couple guys that would be ammunition would make no sense. You're not going to remove Rafaela from this roster. You're not going to remove Abreu from this roster, right? Like, there's a couple guys right there. I'm sure other teams would have interest in those guys.
Even your rentals, like Chapman. You haven't heard Aroldis Chapman's name come up. You have not heard Sonny Gray's name come up.
Right.
Like, it seems like we're at the point where I think more of the fan base wants to see you invest in this team. I personally think that this team needs more than just a big bat. And then for the points that I just outlined, I don't know that you have the major league pieces to get one big bat when you probably need two.
617-779-0985. That's the latest reporting we're getting today on the deadline. Is every hour there's a report that we can dive into.
Building momentum.
We're almost there. We got 29 hours to go. 28 hours.
Oh boy, math.
57 minutes.
This is one of the most compelling. The Red Sox have had better teams than this going into the trade deadline. This might be the most compelling deadline of the Chaim Bloom into Craig Breslow era.
I couldn't agree more. Your thoughts as we approach the deadline, Patriots thoughts, you can add them. We got room for you on the phone lines. We'll be heavy phone calls for the next hour. 617-779-0985. We'll continue. It's Matt McCarthy and Andy Hart.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
If you're using chat to research replacement windows and doors, forget the prompts. Look up.
Matt McCarthy and Andy Hart hanging out until 2 o'clock today, right? 2 o'clock? Is that when we're on till? Thumbs up? All right. There you go.
That's all I'm working till. I'm out of here, too.
If I had said 3, would you guys have stayed on for 2 more hours?
No.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
It says here I leave at 2.
Yep. Out. That's what it says in my contract.
I'm like, was it Manny Ramirez scheduled day off, and then someone gets hurt, and they're like, hey, Manny, can you play? Nope. You said I had a scheduled day off. I'm off. That's your problem. Figure it out.
Mark Ondero will be on after you guys.
Oh, Mark.
That is good for Manny. I'm now realizing, like, yeah, you said this. This is the agreement. Yeah. We're sticking to it.
Team player.
That's a boundary. Just setting a boundary. Manny Ramirez set a professional boundary.
Yeah.
Man expected to have his tickets. Didn't get the tickets. You shoved the traveling secretary
into. Or you assault a 70-year-old man.
Again, setting boundaries there. It's all very healthy. This is something I've been working on in my life. You've got to set some boundaries.
You know what also is healthy is hitting 320 with 30 home runs and 120 RBI.
It's amazing what you're willing to put up with when you produce on the field. So,
and that's my example with Durant.
Yeah.
If he were a multi-time all-star MVP at this point and just one of the best all-around players in baseball and the war and all of that, we'd love him.
You could put up with it.
Because everybody did love him. There was a period of time he was the most popular player on the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore.
No.
And he also may have been popular for a variety of reasons. He may have been pulling from different, because I think a lot of women thought he was kind of hot, and young men thought he was kind of a rebel, and like there were different aspects of it.
Yeah, there were people, it's like, I stand by what he said. There was like a very small amount of those people. It's like, no, you should be able to say that. Like, yeah.
Right.
I think those are actually pretty much the only people still defending Jared Durant at this point.
Because the rest of us, even the women, are like, I guess he's attractive, but not at 199 he's not.
No, right. I mean, well, the older you get, Andy, and this is what I found in my life, the older you get, the less attractive you get. Jared Durant's almost 30. So, like, he's not a child anymore.
It's true.
He's not a young player. It's not, what he is. And what he is a guy who will never have the season he had in 2024 ever again because gets in his own way.
While we're talking about aging.
Yeah.
Quick side story time.
Sure, why not?
Okay, so I went to New Hampshire this weekend, visited some family. We were heading up, sit by the bonfire.
Yeah.
And I had packed my Miller Lite, of course, because, looking out for number one. And I said something to my wife about, like, I didn't really get you anything, Miller Lite. And she was like, I told you to get, she's on a thing now. We don't need to get into the depths of it, but the non-alcoholic.
Yeah.
And
good for her.
So we stop at a very nice gas station, rest station, Coachman's or something, whatever. And I get her the Michelob Ultra Zero or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I got carded.
For buying non-alcoholic
beer at nearly the age of 50. I was kind of happy.
Yeah, no, honestly, good for you.
I felt really good about it.
You're young. You're almost 50. You're a young-looking dude.
Well, I appreciate you. Apparently, that's what the woman thought.
Yeah.
I got carded buying non-alcoholic beer.
Okay, I can kind of understand it, and here's why. It sounds ridiculous, but I guess you could argue, would a non-alcoholic thing be a gateway to a 15-year-old kid then wanting the real thing? I'm not saying I believe it, but maybe. Can I understand the logic behind it?
I don't know. I'm just going to go with she thought I looked young and have a little boost to my ego.
Also, you went into, it's a liquor store, right?
It was a gas station convenience combo unit thing.
Did she even look to see if it was the non-alcoholic? Did she see the beer and she's like, okay, is it just out of habit?
Could be.
Yeah.
And then when I also was like, oh, did you ring that up? Can I throw this on? And I grabbed the peanut butter and jelly Reese's peanut butter cup. She
was like child.
Definitely a kid.
Yeah, definitely a child, no doubt about it. Although I don't think you can ever be old enough for Reese's
Have you had those with the strawberry jelly or strawberry jam or whatever in it?
For the first time the other day.
Enjoyed?
Not bad.
Because I really enjoyed it.
I would say it's not. I mean, the classic Reese's you can never beat. So, but I'm all for the twist every once in a while.
Good. I'm also somebody who eats a lot of strawberry jam and peanut butter sandwiches.
Yes.
So I think it hit that spot in my taste spectrum.
As am I.
Okay.
Little peanut butter and banana. I'll tell you what. They need to infuse some banana in a Reese's.
I mean, the way they're doing these things, it won't be long.
Apples.
They're trying everything.
Peanut butter seriously has to be our sneaky most versatile food.
It's up there.
It goes
certainly.
with just about anything.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, places now, a lot of them have you can get burger with peanut butter on top.
Unbelievable creation.
Have you had it? Because I have.
Yes. No, it's great.
Okay, maybe I'll try it.
You can get a peanut butter and jelly burger.
And it's good. Not weird.
Next time you're over at the stadium,
yep.
Take a pop into Mansfield, go to Flynn's.
Okay.
Get there. I think it's the Donegal.
Donegal.
The Donegal burger. It's a peanut butter and jelly burger.
Grape jelly or strawberry jelly? What kind of
grape? I think,
jelly? Okay.
if I recall.
If you recommend it, I'll try it. I'm dubious, but I'll try it.
No, but you like peanut butter and jelly, right?
I love peanut butter and jelly.
Do you like burgers?
I love burgers.
Then you're going to like this.
Boom, and I'll wash it down with a non-alcoholic brew.
You can do with that whatever you want to do, Andy. But I'm telling you, you're going to like it.
Okay.
This is me looking out for you.
And I do try those things. I've had the glazed donut type burger. Between two glazed donuts.
Yeah.
I try. There's a lot of, bacon maple type things that I don't think always work, even though I like bacon and I like sweets. They don't always blend perfectly.
Bacon and maple go beautifully together.
Yeah, I tried a bacon maple long john. I'm not even sure if you're familiar with that. It's a
long john?
It's like a longer donut with a whipped cream filling. And they usually, I think, have jelly in them, but this was a bacon maple jam long john. Didn't work. I ate the whole thing, but it didn't work. It was weird.
I don't think donuts are that versatile, though.
What do you mean?
I think the issue is not the maple bacon here; it's the combining it with the donut.
Well, yeah. No.
Yeah.
I liked the various aspects of it.
Sure,
they
but
didn't
put it all
work
together.
all together. It was a team you put together that on paper looks good, and then
the
they
2011 Red Sox.
Sure,
yeah.
perfect example. That's what it was. I like all the pieces, but the pieces don't work together.
Yeah, I can see that. But I feel like that's a donut thing. I don't need donuts on with a burger. And I know you said you've had that before.
It's pretty good.
I've had
the Big E out in Springfield. It was pretty good.
That is, I was going to say that sounds like a Big E.
That's what it was. It was good.
It's 1,000% a Big E thing. There was a restaurant. We went to school in Ithaca. There was a restaurant there called the Ale House. Intern Cece knows the Ale House. I'm sure she better know the Ale House. And they used to on the menu have the Fat Kid Burger, which was a full grilled cheese. So bread, grilled cheese, bread.
Yep.
The burger and all the fixings, a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Topped with another full grilled cheese sandwich with a steak knife in the middle of it. And my God, was that thing delicious.
And the steak knife through your heart because you're dying.
And if I ate that now, I would be a dead man.
I would try it, though.
20 years old. Would you try it?
If I'm ever in the
incredible.
Ithaca area.
It was incredible.
I would eat it.
But that's a great combination because a grilled cheese and a burger, it's all the same.
Oh, yeah.
You could put the grilled cheese, you could put the burger in between, and that's just a burger melt.
Right.
That's a cheeseburger club, or whatever that may be.
It's not Awaken 180 approved. I can
no,
tell you that.
No, definitely not. But if you add the full sandwich, I'm all for that. I'm all for putting eggs on burgers. I'm all for...
eggs is good.
You can do a lot with a burger.
Yeah, I like the egg. You can do a lot with a burger. That's why I eat a lot of burgers.
You know what I want to do, and I haven't done this yet? Tartar sauce.
On a burger?
On a burger.
Nope.
Think about it.
It's on a regular burger?
Yeah.
Not some
like a cheeseburger.
Fish burger.
Yeah, like a cheeseburger.
Yeah, that sounds weird.
I bet you it's outstanding. I've never done it.
To be fair, tartar sauce is just mayonnaise and relish.
Right, exactly.
The more I think about it, you've made a solid point.
Andy, I've been on this for a while now. Tartar sauce has to be our most misused condiment. Because it's just mayonnaise and relish. Who doesn't like mayonnaise and relish?
But it's isolated in the seafood community.
Yeah. Why do we keep it only to the seafood community? You know, when I go to Woodman's.
This might be your best take ever.
No, it really is. And trust me, it's a very low bar.
I was going to say, I don't know what it says about the rest of your takes.
I've had about 3 good takes maybe in the history of this in my time at this station.
Mayonnaise and relish.
It's just mayonnaise and relish. You could think about it. You could throw that on a hot dog.
Sure.
You go to Coney Island, be like, hey, get some tartar sauce with that. They'd look at you like you're crazy. No, I think this would work. I haven't tried it yet, but I've been thinking this is going to work.
And a lot of people already put relish and mayonnaise on a burger.
On a burger.
Just
so
not mixed as a
together.
spread together.
What's isn't there a third component to tartar sauce?
I don't think so.
What is tartar sauce made of?
I think it's just mayonnaise and
I think
relish.
there's something else in there.
Not the ones I make.
Yeah,
I make it at home occasionally.
Right.
You get something, you're like, I need tartar sauce, and you just make it because you have relish and
mayonnaise based with finely chopped pickles or relish, and an acid like lemon juice or vinegar.
Okay. So the lemon makes it more seafoody. That pulls you in that seafood direction.
But I mean, growing up, if you had fish or whatever, fried fish, you just boom, whip up some tartar sauce, mayonnaise, relish. There you go.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I add the citrus element. So.
Friday night fish sticks for kids out there.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had those.
Yeah, because they're not great.
No.
That's more nostalgic than it is.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Appetizing.
Yeah. But that is the fish version of the chicken nuggets.
Yes.
And I'm not a chicken guy, so it was just fish sticks.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
like the Gordon's, like frozen. Yeah.
Whatever was left in the bottom of the boat when they got rid of the good fish and they made fish sticks.
Right, which is basically anything a chicken nugget is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just combine it all together.
Or
That's what
hot dogs.
Yeah. It's no different.
There's a lot of those.
If I was taught at 5 years old, whip up some tartar sauce, there you go, a little mayonnaise, a little relish. I can't put that on a hot dog?
I've never thought of this, and it's borderline genius.
I mean, mayonnaise on a burger is great.
Yeah.
It honestly is the best topping.
Now, I will say, I don't put mayonnaise on a hot dog, but you could.
You could.
And I put relish on a hot dog.
So you're more of like a ketchup, relish, mustard.
Right.
But you could put mayonnaise in there.
Absolutely.
Not a problem.
Also feel like you could dip fries in it.
I dip fries in mayonnaise all the time.
But I'm saying the
tartar sauce.
Tartar sauce, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but everybody does that. Like, you go and you get your, like, fried seafood platter or whatever.
But again, you're in the seafood world.
And then people will be like, can I have some ketchup with this? And they put the ketchup on the side because they don't really know what they're doing because you could just dip the french fries in there. That's like a
solid take.
That's like a gateway to using tartar sauce elsewhere. But we've got this figured out. I've got this figured out.
I'm not taking credit because my initial response was idiocy.
Yeah. That's true.
If it's not a fish burger.
But Andy, that's what your initial response to anything, I should say, should be.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. You hate Drake May. You don't think he's that good. You don't think he's going to be clutch.
Yeah, right. I mean, because
he gets scared in the biggest times in games.
Because he did. Yeah, I'm just basing that on what I saw. I'm just basing it on facts. I know you don't want to, I know you want to conveniently ignore that.
Basing it on the facts of the Super Bowl.
I don't ignore
his first full season as a starter.
I just choose not to ignore inconvenient truths. The way I live, man.
Inconvenient truths.
I just choose not to ignore them. Just because I don't like the story doesn't mean I deny the story. Isn't happening or isn't existing. Drake May, yeah,
kind of like the story of Padres, Sox,
Jaron Duran
talking.
That would be a convenient truth. Get him the hell out of here.
And Tatis, Mason Miller, and Xander Bogaerts back in return.
I'd be for it. Jim in the car. Hi, Jim.
You can thank me later for this one, but the add-on that I use for my burgers is shrimp cocktail sauce.
I'm not really
okay. I see it, Jim. I see it.
I can see it.
It's the same thing.
I can.
Would you put
it.
ketchup on a burger?
Yes.
Would you put horseradish on meat?
Yeah.
Cocktail sauce is ketchup and horseradish.
Yes. But
we are making great strides for the condiment evolution on this show.
I can respect it. I can respect it. I'm not doing it.
I will try.
I don't like horseradish.
You don't like horseradish?
I don't. So I don't like cocktail
horseradish sauce?
No, I don't. But
what?
If you want to do it, I won't shame you for it. I'm not here to kink shame.
That is identical because it's very similar. I sometimes will make a cocktail sauce at home but not have the lemon.
Yep.
And it's very similar to your tartar. If you take out the lemon, it makes perfect sense.
Intern Cece, you got something on this? Hold on, we got to get her. We got to get her mic on there. That's Mike 6 over there.
You bragging.
What do we got?
I pressed the wrong button. All right, what do you guys think of malt vinegar with your fries?
Love it.
Oh,
love it.
Tremendous.
Yes.
Because it's a big thing over in England, but a lot of people, because I'm a server at a restaurant, and a lot of people will ask for malt vinegar with their fries.
Yep.
But it's not like super popular over here. And people, and then we actually don't have malt vinegar at the restaurant I serve at. So
somebody will ask for this?
Oh, I have. Yeah, I asked for it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. And so people were like, and when I went and asked, the kitchen, hey, do you have malt vinegar? They're like, what's malt vinegar?
That's a problem.
No, I would say that is a problem. I mean, we're not going to make you expose which restaurant this is, Cece, but I would agree that is a problem.
And I mean, it's to the point where some places just have it on the table, like next to the ketchup.
Yeah.
Malt vinegar. I think it's a Heinz product, a little bottle of Heinz malt vinegar.
It is a good one. It another completely underused.
Yes.
I guess you would call it a condiment, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. And the best part is it moistens the fries, and then when you salt them, it sticks to it, so it keeps the salt stuck to the fry.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, I like malt vinegar.
Honestly.
Also something that's used on like fish and chips and clam cake. Sometimes they'll have malt vinegar, some of those things.
Oh.
So it's, again, in that crossover world of should it just be relegated to the seafood?
I think people are just so afraid of seafood. How many people do you know in your life are like, I don't eat seafood? Like, what do you mean? And like, well, I've never had it. I'm like, what do you mean you've never had seafood?
Which I don't get because I love it.
It's incredible.
I would eat seafood nonstop if I had the ability to. Like if I had a private chef that could make me.
Pretty much do.
Well, you're lucky.
I don't have a private chef, but I just throw that puppy in the air fryer. You're good. You're golden.
Also a little pricey too.
It is. Garvin. If we I don't know if we got Garvin's mic on there. Can't hear him over the air. 1 second here.
Sorry, I'm on the other side of the room. We just had a young caller call in and say he likes to put barbecue sauce in his noodles. You guys have done this.
We have? I don't.
Yeah, no, we have. We've invited that type of nonsense.
The conversation. I mean,
I thought you were accusing me of putting barbecue sauce in my
Yeah, no, we've invited that type of nonsense.
Yeah, we did, but it took a turn.
That's what we're here for. 617-779-0985 to participate in said nonsense. It's Matt McCarthy, Andy Hart, Garvin's here, Cece's here. We roll along on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.
Latest MLB trading deadline update. Rangers apparently very much interested in selling. Corey Seager could be on the block.
Okay, I'm interested.
According to Ken Rosenthal.
I'm interested.
Seager's had back problems this year.
Okay.
He just got back from the injured list again. Has not hit much this year, but he has not been healthy either.
Right.
So
he's a big name.
He is a big
with
name.
Upside.
Plays shortstop.
Right.
So
I mean, I'm swinging for the fences here. Didn't we say they're all in?
I think the Red Sox want to claim they're swinging for the fences.
Sean McAdam tells us that they are kind of sick of the prospect, wait, long-term, blah, 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 kicking the can down the road, I believe, was part of the... No. Kick the can right now. Kick it straight up in the air as high as you can.
You want to punt the can.
Punt the can, like Baxter and Anchorman. Punt the dog off the bridge.
The man punted Baxter. The bad man. It's in a glass case of emotion. That's what Andy is in. Steve in Peabody. Hello, Steve.
Hey, boys. Thanks for taking the call. Mr. Hart.
Yeah.
Obviously, you haven't been to the TD Garden lately. Or if you have, you've been in the press box. But any bar or concession stand you go to, you have to show an ID. No age discrimination.
Yes, I have been. And Fenway, the same thing. Yep. I don't actually include those. This is my more real world partings.
No, I totally get why every single venue, sporting venue everybody gets carded.
Right. It just makes it easier. It's the process. Everybody go when you get in line,
you got your card
you
ready.
have it ready. No matter your age.
It's accepted there. And honestly, because the last thing you want is somebody holding up the line. It's like, I need your card. Oh, sorry, this person's fumbling around. Right. Really, that's just done to prevent the fumbling and the idiocy.
Correct. It speeds up everything. I was talking more just in everyday life. I don't get carded all that often.
It's also, I would imagine, a liability thing. You never want, if somebody has a few drinks at a game to, something happens. It's like, well, you didn't card that person, then you're going through security. No. Right. Every single person gets carded.
CYA.
It's not the mom and pop, you're going down to the local packy and the person in there every day. They're like, hey, Andy, what's up? How you doing?
Right.
You go down to your local spot. That's a different world.
Correct. So yeah, I took it as just a little boost to the ego. Got carded.
Good for you.
Happy about it.
I'm happy. You know what? I'm happy for you too.
Thank you.
And your non-alcoholic.
Not bad. Have you had them?
No, because honestly, I don't really drink beer, so I don't need the non-alcoholic beer. At this
You know what
point.
I also found out? So I got into it a little bit. I drank a couple and I was reading them. Not beer.
Yep.
It's a malt beverage, sort of like your other, Mike's Lemonades or whatever those are, malt beverages. Also has lots of carbs.
That's kind of why it's like I'm not going to. In the end, all I need is water. I'm in that phase of my life. Like I'm good. And if I'm not, and I like wine and I like spirits, but if I'm not drinking to get drunk, I don't need the taste of the drink. You know what I mean?
Sure. And
I'm
also, if you do Awaken 180, you don't need the extra carbs for some. Miller Lite has less than half the carbs of a Michelob Ultra Zero. So I might as well just drink the real beer.
Get the real alcohol. Just get that poison in there.
Yes, exactly. I want to do some damage.
That's right. I mean, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it for a purpose.
Go big or go home.
Pat in Mansfield. Hey, Pat.
Yeah, hey guys.
Hey.
So I love this. It's almost like a Joe show, the mix of sports and food topics you guys got going on. I wanted to raise the I think it's Cincinnati specialty of chili over spaghetti. You can kind of make it how you want it. It's almost like a meat sauce. It's tremendous.
Yes, I've never had that, but people say it's good, and it's called State Line or Stateside. I've been there a few times, but never gone out because I try to do that, especially back in the day when I traveled with the Patriots.
Yeah.
I would try to sample the local whatever's cool.
Yeah, you want to go to a new city, you eat the local fare. I'm a huge believer in that.
I never had the State Line. I think it's State Line chili over spaghetti. What it actually is, I think, is like a real heavy meat sauce.
Yeah, that's basically
so
chili-esque.
I would eat. I mean, that sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me too.
Whether it's a meatball, meat sauce, spaghetti, the whole thing, like those all work together.
There are a million different ways to skin a cat.
Yes.
in this scenario.
But I think the similar tie-in to what we were discussing is if you like all the ingredients, then you should like the combo. Like if you like chili and you like spaghetti, then you probably like chili on spaghetti.
Because you think about it, like they would, the Italians would call it a sauce, right?
Right.
Chili could be a sauce
or a gravy. You should hear Mark Capella and Paul Perillo argue about a sauce, a gravy, and this whole thing.
That's
not hard for you to
not hard for me to imagine at all. It's not hard for me to imagine Capello arguing anything with anybody, which is what the man argues for sport.
He has a couple though that
it's hard to imagine Paul though getting deep into. Last naming and ending in a vowel.
Correct.
That's the thing that gets Paul going.
That's one of them, and once they're entrenched. But Capello's had a few over the years that are like recurring that go back. That's one of them, and the other is like beach versus pool. He'll like argue people to the death over beach versus pool.
You always want pool in that scenario.
I'll take the beach.
Do you go into the? I know you go into the Shark's home, but does the shark come into your home?
No.
Yeah, so let's keep it that way. So here's
Are there
the thing.
Waves in my pool?
Now
it's a wave pool, Andy.
You could get a wave pool. Now, Andy, I mean, I don't want to say. No, I mean, you're on the South Coast, which is not as rife with shark activity down there. But I like you. I care for you as a coworker. I'm just saying, when you go into the shark's home and the shark takes a piece out of you, I'm really not going to have much sympathy for you because you could have just gone in the pool.
That is true, and I've also egged it on because I've continued to say I really want to see a shark in my boat. Like I really want to be out and just like, holy crap, do you see that fin? There's a shark 15 feet away.
Yeah, you're driving around in your boat with a seal, like a rope to the end of it.
Yeah, basically. Chum in the water.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, now I want it at, I don't want to see it when I'm at the beach. I don't want to see it if we've stopped to swim. I just want to see it at a distance.
Yeah,
and we can both go about our separate days after that.
Go on one of the shark tours off the Chatham.
Yeah.
Talk to ScoMo. We'll get you out there.
I get seasick, though, too.
Wait a minute. You get seasick and you have a boat?
Yeah, I don't get seasick when I drive. So
it's like a control thing.
I think so.
You'd have to ask.
Can I drive?
Excuse me. Can I drive? Can I drive the boat?
Can you deputize me or whatever for today to put all these lives in?
Captain Andy Hart?
Yes.
Yeah, please. I'll come out here, but only if I can drive the boat.
I'll pay you, but I need to drive.
You ever tried that on a plane? Like, excuse me, sir. I don't like being up here, but,
But if I'm in control,
if you let me land this thing, could you land a plane?
No chance.
Oh, you fool. Of course you could.
You think I could?
Yeah, you drive a boat. Gravity's your friend.
I don't think that's the way it works.
Just let gravity do its job, man.
No. No. What do they call it? Terminal velocity you hit?
Yeah.
I don't want the word terminal.
The terminal
velocity.
involved with anything?
Yes.
Yeah. 617-779-0985. How about Jason in the car? Hi, Jason.
Guys, I was all about Chad Tracy being the manager going forward. His handling of Jaron Duran, really disappointing to me. It would have been nice to have seen him step up to the plate and discipline the guy and show some stones, set the tone, show the fans, show management, show the team that, listen, I'm not going to tolerate this nonsense. I'm going to stand up for my coaching staff. I'm going to stand up for myself. I think it was a missed opportunity. Now, he might handle it behind the scenes, but Duran played in the games since the outburst, and I just think he missed an opportunity. And if he really wants this job and he wants to establish himself, I'm not saying he should go out of his way to discipline a player, but there was a real opportunity that he could have made it 100% in my mind. This guy deserves to be back, as opposed to now I'm like 75% sure of it. And again, I wonder if it was somebody like Siegler or Monasterio that had the outburst, if he would have handled it differently, or if he's just nervous to discipline Duran because they feel like he's a little bit of a loose cannon. I just wish that Tracy showed a little bit more, because I think everything else he's done has been great. He's winning. I like his tonality when he has his press conferences. He's a young guy. He seems like he's paid his dues. And I was just a little disappointed in him. I don't know what you guys think.
So, Jason, I think you hit on the most important part there. You're like, well, you wanted Chad Tracy to just discipline Jaron Duran to prove that, and this is an oversimplification of what you're saying, to show that he's capable of being the next guy. That's not Chad Tracy's decision. That's Craig Breslow's decision. Chad Tracy doesn't have the authority to bench Breslow. I think Tracy was put in an impossible spot the other night. The Red Sox have now spent probably every waking moment since the incident in Sacramento trying to trade Jaron Duran. There is a ton of reporting on that over the course of the last few days, starting with Julian McWilliams saying the Red Sox are willing to trade Duran. Now Kevin Acee out in San Diego, who's been on the Duran story for years now, is saying the Red Sox are finally willing essentially to come off of their ridiculous ask for Jaron Duran. So if you bench Duran, make even more of a scene out of it than it already was, you're harming whatever trade value it may have. Tracy's in a spot where he can't do anything. This is all on Breslow, and they're probably trying to move him out of here. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons Contreras was so, beyond conciliatory to Durant. It's like knowing that it's like they had a conversation. Guys, just put on a good face for this for 2 seconds. We're going to try and see if we can resolve this issue.
Right. We don't need to solve this because you won't be here very long. So
Right.
it's not going to be an issue for me in a week kind of thing. But yeah, the first thing I thought of for Tracy is whether he has say in the decision or not, it's more of an organizational decision.
Yeah.
And even though people around baseball are aware of the situation, you magnify it and you limit the return, whatever you're going to get, which is limited already based on
the fact that he sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
You're only hurting yourself and undercutting yourself. But the bigger question is, and I was watching the Nesson pregame show last night, and this topic was brought up, and they seemed pretty optimistic to the idea that the interim tag could be removed from Chad Tracy this week when they come home, that it might be a nice little
interesting
boost kind of thing and kind of pat on the back and bring the team together even more, which, I don't know if you need. Coming, you know what that made me think? That they don't expect a big trade deadline. So then the next thing to do is, well, we didn't get any players, but this is no longer the interim manager. And that's what worried me about it.
Interesting timing. It's a good point. I would agree with that. And by the way, I think the tag should come off.
Me
I think
too.
he's earned it.
But that is not as valuable as adding Fernando Tatis or whoever the players you want to pursue at the trade deadline. Just doing a sort of ceremonial move of bestowing this guy. You are now the manager of the Boston Red Sox. No, he's done a great job. Like, do you have any complaints?
No.
Like, and I don't know how you could. The result. His job is to win games, correct?
Yep.
He has won games with limited talent. Now, my one argument is, I think it's a AAA manager winning
with
games with a AAA
team. Yep.
And does his job change if they trade for, like, my dream trade?
Yeah.
And he gets Fernando Tatis and Mason Miller. So now he's got a big star player and 2 closers. By the way, you're the manager now. Figure this out.
I agree, but I think he's proven he deserves an opportunity to manage a different type of team.
Sure.
Because he's done such a good job with this one in an impossible spot. Not to mention, too, with very little backing and public support of the general manager. I mean, Breslow has not exactly effusive in his praise of Tracy at the beginning. Hey, he said some nice things here and there, but it was very like, yeah, we'll see if he keeps the job.
Right. If you're going to ask him to tell Aroldis Chapman he's no longer the closer because Mason Miller's the closer, he better at least have a 2 or a 3 year contract in his back pocket as the manager of the Boston Red Sox.
617-779-0985. I see on the phone lines. I promise we'll take care of you as we continue. It's Matt McCarthy and Andy Hart here on the Sports Hub. Latest Red Sox trade rumblings here. Andy.
I would love it.
Reading here from Tyler Milliken. This is following up an Alex Spear piece. The Red Sox have shown interest in Marlins catcher Liam Hicks and other catchers in recent days while trying to improve their offense. Okay, there you go. The Red Sox have been engaged at various points, including the past week, with the Marlins about Otto Lopez, but Miami hasn't shown any inclination at all that they'll move him. That is in, I guess that contradicts what Sean McAdam has said, that essentially there's been no talk about Otto Lopez and those conversations are dead.
I don't believe any of that this time. Like, this is lying time, right? This is, no, we would never. What'd you say you'd offer? Mm-hmm. We'd never listen. Excuse me, come again? You said, who? And I think that I use the example of the Tarek Skubal trade. I read, I think on The Athletic, they hadn't had serious conversations. That was as of like yesterday morning. And the biggest fish on the market was traded shortly thereafter. Or even the Meade trade. Breslow said, I came together really quickly.
Yeah.
I think these things, there's lying involved.
Always.
To save face and, so you're not shopping Jaylen Brown, so you're not shopping whoever. But also I do think Andrew Brandt, the guy on Twitter, former GM of the Packers, the whole, deadline spur action. Okay, there's reality to that. There's a deadline coming. You want to do the math real quick? Are you
no, let's see. So we'd be 28 hours, 11 minutes, and 12 seconds.
Deadlines are coming in 28 hours.
Yep.
That spur action and the deadline of a little longer-term deadline, I do think some teams are taking the CBA into account here.
They have to.
So if you have an owner that's telling you shed this, like get rid of this salary, right? Like that could, you're playing the tough guy GM, and then all of a sudden you start to weaken and soften because you need to unload it.
Yep.
You need to unload it at the request of your owner and the CBA and finances or whatever. So I am choosing to remain optimistic that the Boston Red Sox, as Sean McAdam said, are not kicking the can down the road and are all in, maybe a strong word, but are a playoff team that's looking to strengthen their ability to make a run in the playoffs.
Call me an idiot. I think it might be real on the money stuff. If the McAdams, and when McAdam talks, I listen.
Yep.
He's been around the team forever. Go back to what Buster Olney said too earlier this year, that the Red Sox at the owners' meetings were involved at ownership level discussions to bring money into the team, bring money onto the roster. I mean, again, I'll believe it when I see it, but I do think there is a little bit more legitimate smoke around ownership's involvement and their level of interest in, potentially bringing on some money and potentially being willing to, make a trade that involves, some significant money exchanging hands. I don't know if Breslow gets that done. I think those are two different things.
Right. But if he has the desire to save his job, or even if maybe he feels like he already saved his job, but strengthen his footing moving forward.
Yeah, making a move now helps.
Yes, and whatever conversations you have with John Henry and ownership in regards to finances may give you a little more rope or a little different type of rope, right, to lasso something. I'm staying optimistic because I think the Boston Red Sox should utilize their position right now as the Boston Red Sox.
Are you at all concerned that Monday night we're going to hear Roman Anthony's coming back? He's our deadline edition. Hey, maybe Garrett Crochet will come back. He's our deadline edition. You concerned about that?
Yes. We just touched on it. If Nesson is promoting the idea that this coming week they will remove the interim tag from Chad Tracy to boost the team, there's an implication. That means you didn't make a big deal, because that would be kind of a footnote item if you made a big trade, right?
Yep.
That would kind of just... But if people are wondering, how's the team doesn't respond well after the trade deadline when they don't do anything? Well, if they like the manager, they play for their manager. If you feel like you need that, it means you didn't do much. So I am worried about that. And then the best way to really combo that would be, and don't forget that we have the best left fielder in baseball, right?
Yep.
Preseason, those rankings. Remember those rankings? Best left fielder in baseball was Roman Anthony.
Yep.
We're bringing the best left fielder in baseball back, and we're getting an ace back atop the rotation. I hate it, because I'll take those.
Yeah, I will too.
In conjunction with whatever, because now you may actually sell me on. Let's just say you get whoever, name your shortstop of choice.
C.J. Abrams.
You get Abrams, you bring back Anthony, you bring back Crochet. That is a formidable late season surge for a team that is already surging.
Yeah. I also think if you get a real legitimate bat and you bring Anthony back into the fold, the pressure isn't on him as much if you've added somebody, real to the middle of that order. Again, I don't know if that hitter's out there. My sense is that hitter probably isn't out there at this deadline, but that would be it would be a boost for Roman Anthony if he's not the face of the lineup when he returns. Have we dedicated enough time to Garrett Crochet, though, and whatever the hell's going on with his injury? Because the pitching staff's been so good. He has not caught anywhere near the heat that Anthony has caught. But this is a guy who was supposed to only miss a little bit of time.
Yes, a start.
Yeah.
He's missed a lot of starts.
And I'm not convinced, by the way, that even if he does come back, he's capable of coming back as a starter. Are they going to have enough time to get him stretched out?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
I mean, remember, we did this with
Probably
Chris
not.
Sale. We did this with Chris Sale a few years ago. He started rehabbing late August, early September. It's like, well, he's not going to be able to get up to 90 pitches and 5 innings ready to go, so we're going to bring him back as a weapon out of the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a consideration, but you brought up the name that I think mattered. This is his first bullet that he's using, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Chris Sale used up a bunch before everybody really turned on Chris Sale. Crochet, this is the first time you're wondering what the hell's going on. I would also marry that up with, is there a possibility, Bayo just had a nice outing, 4 innings?
Yeah, he's been really good out of the bullpen for them.
Are they going to have this weird, say they bring Crochet back as a opener?
For Brian Bayo.
For Bayo, who, Crochet goes 3, and if you can get 4 out of Bayo, you've gone 7 innings. You go to Whitlock, you go to Chapman, game over.
Don't hate that, believe it or not.
Well,
don't
thanks.
No, and if whatever you can get out of Crochet would be a bonus at this point, but I do think we need to start talking about the fact that there are seemingly no updates on him. I mean, at least Roman Anthony has started swinging a bat, but what the hell is going on with Garrett Crochet? And you've traded one of your starting pitchers away. You're probably not going to be able to add something significant at the deadline in the rotation. Bennett and Tolley are already at their innings max for their careers. They may fade. This team, is Sonny Gray, does he look exactly the way he looked at the beginning of this year? Like, their pitching's been so good that Crochet has, I think, escaped a lot of criticism. They're going to need him. They are legitimately in a playoff race. They need him.
I also think some of the reason he has escaped criticism is the criticism has focused on the medical staff and the team. The mismanagement side of things.
And Anthony. He's caught a lot of the heat.
Right.
Yep.
But in conjunction with Anthony, everybody's like, what's going on with the medical staff? They have a history of this, misdiagnosis or erroneous timelines. And everybody likes Crochet, right? He had a nice honeymoon period coming here to Boston and being that guy. If he wants to continue that, he should probably get himself back on the mound somewhere and helping them as they enter the postseason.
It's been fun, Andy.
It has been fun. Now you can go have a burger with tartar sauce on it.
Look forward to it. Sounds like a good move. I'm getting tweets. People are trying that at the Nines right now.
Wonder how it's going over.
Look forward to the report.
Wonder what the
I'm
wait staff thinks. Did you say tartar sauce you'd like with that burger?
Yeah.
We have tartar sauce because we have, obviously, seafood and fish and chips and everything. Yeah, I bet you there were some raised eyebrows in the back.
Give it a shot. See how it works.
Genius walks alone until everybody does it.
That's true. They've always said about me, Garvin. Genius. And Andy Hart. Genius. Cece, thanks a lot for your help today, Garvin. Appreciate it. He's Andy Hart. I'm Matt McCarthy. Mark Dondero's up next. Have a great rest of your afternoon. See ya.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Mads. You know I'm picky about my golf game, and I've played Snell golf balls for years now. The new PR3 and PR4 models are outstanding, long off the tee, great spin around